Welcome back to the Crimeycade. I am the mad conservative crime fighter and already photobombed by that turkey behind me. This is a little bit of a mess back here because I had the unfortunate, and this turkey's going to be looming under my table. Man, I'm going to have to shake the keys at him. Make sure that my mic is on. Good, it is. It's decided to crawl through the cracks. Actually, coming out of the power outlet and running up the side of the wall to the window, and they're actually coming out of the cracks in the windowsill. So I had to rig up some taro, try to get rid of them. So, and I'm not sure who this is. Who's this? Ref Tamer. Welcome to the pod. I'm not you're talking about Discord. I don't know. Not sure about that one, but maybe I'll look at it later. But anyway. So let's get to it. End stage. There we go. Last week on the Crimeycade, my guest was actually I had a bunch of guests. We had the Midwest Gaming Classic Roundtable, a ruckus affair. Well, not that ruckus. It was pretty orderly. The people who did pop in, Jim Patzer, Psycho Harley, Andy Park, Joshua Jager, and two members of Guys, Games, and Beer. Who do I have? I didn't have their names. I thought I wrote their names down. Doggone it. Tom and one other gentleman. And then George Branos did put in a cameo appearance. Got through a lot of questions. And it's 1 week to go. 1 week to go before the Midwest Gaming Classic. The VIG, very important gamer packages, are completely sold out. And looks like I'm getting some messages here. I gotta remove some extra windows because I'm getting confused as to what I'm looking at. Somebody's messaging. Oh, I see. I gotta actually keep a Facebook chat window open so in case I need to jump into action to help our guest who's having dinner, and I told him to take his time. So, anyway, thanks for everybody that came in and had a lot of new faces on the pod for the first time, and we're probably gonna get some of them back in the very near future to have their own individual podcast. And I'm going to be talking to Guys, Games, and Beer at Midwest Gaming. I'm going to be doing an interview with them whenever I can. And yes, this graphic, 20 show streak from 2004 to 2015, and this will be number 21. Gamers Wanted, if you work in gaming, you're a turning competitor, create content, have notoriety, gaming fanatic, let's talk. Send me a message. You can do it on Twitch or facebook.com/Crimeycade. And follow me, facebook.com/Crimeycade, or follow me, twitch.tv/Rapsheet. And past episodes of the Crimeycade are on YouTube, tiny.cc/PWCI. And my weekly Beezer post, which Beezer is not on the arcade floor as of yet. Maybe someday it will be. All right. Get into the news, and there's several news items that I needed to cover before the guest comes in. I got a chance to take a look at Arcadia Unlimited. It was thought it was going to be opening last month, but been some delays on that one. It took a couple of years for Galloping Ghost Arcade to open the Canton extension or expansion. So you can imagine, and by the way, the front of this right here. Thanks, King Cam. I had the same headset, just changed the settings around until I found one that is supposed to work correctly. Anyway. It's not boarded up. It's now got windows and you can see inside. So it looks a lot better than this. This was taken about, last year. But anyway. Been a delay on opening the Arcadia Unlimited, and I happened to be in the neighborhood earlier this week, and the owner was there. So he gave me a sneak preview of the work in progress. And my guest has just arrived, so hopefully everything's good on his end. Got a chance to walk through the Arcadia Unlimited. It looks like it's going to be another month before it is open, but there's a lot of work left to be done, but quite a bit of progress has been made. And when the grand opening happens, I'll be doing a live stream to do a live tour. Yes. Do a live tour of the Arcadia Unlimited, go through the entire lineup of games that they have on the arcade floor, and it's going to be multi-level. It's not just going to be video games. They're going to put some pinballs in there. So they're getting ready. Oh, where's this place at? It is in McLean, Illinois, just south of Bloomington, north of Lincoln, on the Triangle. This is the new expansion. They already have the Pinball Palace and the main arcade already open. It takes quarters, but this is going to be a day pass situation for the Arcadia Unlimited, and hopefully we'll get this open relatively soon. Yes. Oh boy. So this is going on again. I was kind of stunned to hear last week that, I found out about this just after the podcast ended last week, that Carl Joves has filed a new lawsuit. And in America, by the way. And after the humiliating loss last year, I was like, what are you doing? Get some of that money back, but the question is, I don't think he's going to get any money back. I think he's going to lose a lot more money, even if he's representing himself here, which I don't think is going to do very well. I don't think Carl has really any better chance of success than he did back in Australia. I mean, if this lawsuit was filed in Great Britain and Billy was a resident of Great Britain, he could use the that ridiculous anti-butthurt law to sue under. But this is America, and I've read the lawsuit. I mean, Carl Jones has definitely been roasted. There's no question about that. But he's definitely butthurt over being roasted so bad over this loss. And filing a new lawsuit, I don't think is going to be all that productive in the long run. I'm not going to adjudicate the past in any way, shape, or form, because everybody's mind is made up, including our guest. Our guest's mind is made up. And it's like nothing I say, nothing he says is going to change anybody's minds on this. So I don't think this is going to go anywhere personally. Hack attack. Gavin Ghost Arcade's website got hacked, and the Tech Buzz, which is one half of the Game Masters, Stephen Haywood, who's been a previous guest on the Crimeycade, his his Google account got hacked. He got tricked by a phishing attack and lost access to his YouTube channel. And then some Russian hacker, I guess, uploaded some cryptocurrency solicitation video. Fortunately for Stephen Haywood, he was able to get his YouTube channel back after, and a bunch of other gaming YouTubers helped on getting that account recovery. That channel recovered and out of the hands of that Russian, whoever it was. I don't know what happened with Galvin Ghost Arcade. It looks like something got changed on their end, but I never looked to see what happened to the site. But I looked today, and it seems to be completely restored. So all's good, back to normal. Humble pie. I think I'm gonna defer this towards the back end of the podcast because little bit of developments, and this kind of is off topic to an extent. Yeah, we're at 97. We're at episode 97, so give about at least 3. Anyway, the humble pie topic, I'm gonna save that for a little later because this is still in development. I'll cover the high scores, and then I'm gonna. What do you mean it says 98? It should say 97. Oh, good grief! Well, it's too late now. I'm already going. Yeah, it's 97. Brandon Travis up the Rayforce high score at 1.2 million, just a slight increase of like 100,000. Newcomer to the arcade, Jim Bartholomew has claimed LED Storm. I don't know if that's 2 full loops of the game, but after 2 loops, that is a 1cc. You kind of have to snag the 1,000,000-point bonus at the end of both loops. Andrew Owasco lost Pioneer Balloon to Jimbo Slice, but got it back today, 426. Yes. Well, crazy jump on LED Storm, but it's like another 1,000,000. Jim got further into the game. That's pretty much. Tony DeRose raised his high on My Hero to 1.3, almost 1.4 million. Another newcomer, Sal Samego, takes the house high on Seawolf at 9,600. I thought it was over 10,000. Also today, Pete Hahn takes back eSWAT from Andrew Owasco at 2.5 million. Not to be outdone, Andrew Owasco takes Big Fighter at 304,000. Taking that for Brad Buck. Mossy Segopian takes Air Duel from Andrew at 720K. He got further into the game. And Jeff Lucas, not related to me, takes Oscar from Andrew Owasco at 315,000. But the big score from Sydney, Australia, a gamer known only as EVN, got the 1cc on Dungeons and Dragons Tower of Doom. Over 1 million points. To get that score, you have to take out the red dragon in the middle of the game, which is a hard boss to defeat by yourself. And also the final boss, the evil wizard at the end. Because that red dragon, very tough mid-game boss, is worth a lot of points. But you ain't going to get the world record unless you challenge the dragon. In comparison to Goblin Ghost's House High, it's only a little over 70,000 points, which means that game hasn't really... The score is relatively low, and I'm not really one who likes to telegraph games I'm going after, but the 1cc has been established, and that was submitted at Twin Galaxies. So we'll see if anybody goes after Terra Doom Dungeons and Dragons. All right. All right. Our guest tonight, and he is the star of the documentary that came out about, at least a little more than a decade ago. And the game he played, he formerly had the world record on it. However, the world record has changed hands several times since the documentary. But here's the trailer for that documentary, which is available for free on YouTube.
You can't believe it even after you see it. The way Tim plays this Nibbler game.
Honestly, I haven't talked about the record for years. I don't like blowing my own horn, I guess. First time I saw Nibbler, I walked in the arcade down at Twin Galaxies. What's the big deal? He's got 700 million. Well, it doesn't matter what he's got. When he's done, I'll just wipe it off anyway.
There are millions of people that can't score 10,000.
The billion on Nibbler was one of the 7 summits.
The first billion-point game was going to take place.
Like Everest, you knew it could be climbed.
10 million to go, half hour to get there.
Highest score ever recorded on any video game ever.
I can't believe I'm going to get it.
1 billion points on Nibbler.
He got 1 billion points on Nibbler. What the is Nibbler?
Tim was coming out of retirement. He's the big guy. Is he still a big guy?
I don't like to brag, but I don't think there's a player in the world that could have beat me.
Video game players have a somewhat inflated ego.
Who's the best player? I am. Am I making this stuff up? No. Is this the way we do things around here? Yeah. You're out of line.
Oh.
Dwayne is just a natural.
I'm gonna go for 1 billion. Want to see what it looks like.
I want to prove that I can do it again.
The new age of athleticism.
My husband's gonna wipe the floor with him.
Let's do this thing.
Work through the maze, pick up all the dots, and not run into yourself. It's fast.
Nibbler's my game.
Lightning strikes.
This is my record.
It's just a question of time before someone breaks it.
Son of a bitch.
It's just that no one has Nibbler games.
What's Nibbler? What's Nibbler? God, I'm sick of that question.
At everything. Wow, I need to get good at this game.
Is there any cute girls watching?
No. That game is crazy.
Not a lot of people have done that. Tom Brown.
If you want something bad enough, go get it.
Where the hell is this haze coming from?
And here he is, the man himself, the star of Man vs. Snake, Tim McVey.
Hey guys, how's it going?
It's
We have
been
audio?
a while, hasn't it?
Yeah. It's been, this is the first podcast I think I've done in about 8 years maybe. I wasn't even sure if all the computer stuff was going to work, and then I kind of forgot about it. And, fun night.
It's been 8 years since you've done a podcast?
At least, I believe. It's been a while. When something new comes out, people are interested in it, then the interest kind of wanes. And like you pointed out, the scores changed hands several times, so it's kind of fallen to the wayside a little bit again.
Well, let's start with it. What you've retired from score chasing, I believe. Just
Pretty
play
much.
for pleasure.
I don't even do that anymore.
You don't play?
Not very often. I played a little bit of Diablo 3 recently and forgot how to play the game. It had been so long since I played it. I got into RC cars and RC racing and oval dirt, specifically oval dirt RC racing, and then this winter carpet RC racing and on the oval. And I'm at work, or I'm working on my cars, or I'm going to a race, or I'm racing, or I'm sleeping.
Funny thing that the topic covered yesterday on the Game Masters, Brandy and Steven talked about video game burnout. When players burn out on gaming, it's like, how do you deal with it? How do you get your mojo back? Or do you shift to something else for a while until you get bored with the other thing, and then you just kind of rediscover your love for gaming?
Yeah, all this stupid arcade stuff with lawsuits and all that crap, I don't know, it's almost embarrassing to be part of it, you know? I just tried to put some distance between myself, and I mean, it wasn't intentional. It didn't start out that way. Yeah. I was kind of over a lot of this stuff anyway for a while. I've never been like, hey, look at me. It's just never been my thing, you know? Yeah. So all that attention, it was fun for, 5 minutes, and then it wasn't so much. I mean, I enjoy meeting people. I like talking to you right now. I can talk all day. I've been told I'm good at that. So at least there's one thing I'm good at. But I've always liked racing. If you remember in the documentary, at the end of it, they had me driving a stock car. There was a segment where I talked about my dad driving a push truck at Knoxville, which was a dirt oval. So racing has been more than video games. Racing has kind of defined my life to a great point. And I've never had the money. And it's like, how do you get from A to B as far as these guys that get started dirt racing and stuff like that? And in elementary school, every year, it's like they ask you, what are you going to be when you grow up? I always said race car driver. And this is about as close as I'm ever going to get is RC race car driver, because the economics of the sport is just insane. The volume of money that you need to pour into those things and into real race cars. And at my age, I mean, that's just it's not going to happen. I told Tina, I said, if I ever win the lottery, I'll buy a real race car. She looked at me, she says, no, you won't. So, yeah, I'm having fun with the RC stuff, though.
When you read, I'll talk about the RC stuff because I know there's an indoor track up in Elkhart, just up the road from Springfield, going towards between Lincoln and Springfield. I don't know if you're aware of that one.
So which state are we talking about there? Because
Illinois.
Okay, that's what I thought. Some of those towns are in multiple states, though. So.
I'm in Illinois, so I kind of know what's in my area. So.
I thought so, but I wanted to make sure I'm
You're
on the
in
same page.
Iowa, by the way,
yep,
correct? Yep.
King of the corn.
I'm surrounded by cornfields.
Yep.
I've also been banished to the cornfields by Doc Mack for a time.
Oh, no. Uh-oh. What happened there?
Well, they're kind of into the Twilight Zone, and they have that emoji where they Anthony Fremont points that finger and sends a naughty person out to the cornfields.
So you tell me that was you?
I was kicked to the cornfields.
Oh no!
For a little bit, I got summoned back, but where I live, it's cornfields in every direction. Once you leave the city limits.
Yeah, that's Iowa too. I mean, I'm in a small town, but it doesn't matter if it's a big town or a small town. Whatever town it is, when you leave the town, it's corn. Everywhere you go, it's corn. And
some lakes too.
Not many. Not here. Not in the area I am anyway.
Yeah.
You said Doc Mack. That's somebody I haven't seen or talked to for a while. I miss Galloping Ghost. It's been a long time since I've been there, and that place was, every time I was there, had a lot of fun. That's one of the, out of all the stuff I did, I think it was derived, from the documentary. Really, it had me doing a lot of things I probably couldn't have or wouldn't have done otherwise. Galloping Ghost was one of those things. Getting to go out there and enjoy that was a lot of fun. So there's been a lot of good along the way too. But then, like I said, the lawsuits and just the utter stupidity of the whole situation, the Rudy Ferretti nonsense that happened, and
that was that's a whole different level. And that's just somebody lost their life in the process, and that's bizarre.
There was some of us in the community that kind of warned that we thought something like that was going to happen because of him, just his actions and his words, and it fell on deaf ears. And then there was a segment of the community that I think they kind of sat behind the scenes and just wound him up and pointed him in a direction at somebody because it was amusing to him. And like you said, it ended in a tragedy. I don't know that I'm not implying that somebody in the community, pointed him in that direction, but they sure didn't stop it. They didn't help, prevent it.
Although I've seen some of his videos, actually back then he was not on my radar at all because I was kind of embroiled in the wrestling business, which besides doing.
Unfortunately, he was on mine early because the documentary. It's like, well, why did they make a documentary about you playing Nibbler? I am Rudy Ferretti, and I'm the video game player of the decade, or whatever he called himself, the console gamer of the century. Just all the stuff he thought was so amazing that, all three people that were following him knew about. And I'm not saying I've got a lot of followers. I don't even mean to imply that at all. I know I'm a small thing in a very small niche community. But he thought everything was way bigger than it was, and just anything he did should have had a documentary on himself. And I'm like, I didn't ask for this. Yeah. I never expected this. They called me, Well, how'd you get him to make a documentary? I didn't get anybody to do anything. They called me and I went, you're who? You're calling for why? And he was constantly harassing me, for a long time. I tried to be his friend for a while, tried to talk to him, say, hey man, if you, don't do this in the public forums and don't, present yourself this way, you'll have more friends. Life will be easier. And then after a while, I don't know. He just he lost it when, you saw the ending. He really lost it.
I probably never got on I wish maybe he could have gotten on my radar, but he probably wouldn't have wanted to mess with me because I worked for the Illinois State Police at that time.
Yeah, that would be a good reason not to.
Yes. I will say this. He did cut promos and stuff. The wrestling business has rubbed off on gaming quite a bit in the last several years, and I cut promos on other gamers too. I mean, if he was on my radar and I was irritated with his actions, I probably would have cut some promos on him and probably would have pissed him off. And then I probably would have done a best of 7 challenge on random games in the arcade to show him that he may be the console player of the century, but
he would have wanted to play Splatterhouse with you for sure.
Yeah. And
he had a thing for Caitlin.
Yes, he was harassing Caitlin, and she just got out of it. It's like, I wish I'd known that she was being harassed back then because I never knew about it. Even though I was a regular Galpin Ghost Arcade, Doc never mentioned it. He did cover the score chasing on Splatterhouse. I don't know if Jimbo Slice got bothered by this guy, but
there was for a while some of us thought, if we just don't talk about it, just kind of ignore it, it's going to go away on its own and run its course, and it never did. Yeah. Some people didn't want the confrontation. They didn't want to deal with it, so they just didn't. And there's so many, we could have done this, we should have done this, maybe if we tried this, and it's all hindsight. Everything in hindsight's always 20/20, but it's sad that happened. I met her in Ottumwa, and she was fun to talk to, and she's a good gamer, and it kind of sucks that any gamer, male or female, for whatever reason, get harassed and get driven out of something they love because some lunatic out there, we should all be able to do this and have fun without harassing each other. And you can't build yourself up by tearing other people down. And some people never did get that message.
Yeah. I didn't expect to talk about Rudy Ferretti, but
sorry.
Sometime that will have to come up on the pod maybe, but
so remember, I'm old and I've kind of been away from gaming for a while. So some of the older topics are probably more in the forefront of what I'm thinking because I haven't really been keeping up on stuff,
I will say this. I started this podcast because I'm in my 50s and I kind of want to relive my past a little bit.
I like going back once in a while, but I'm glad I'm not there anymore.
Well, in the Duncan lawsuit, I kind of stayed on the sidelines and just watched the fireworks, but we'll see what
I was dumbfounded how that one shook out. I mean, I didn't see it going that way, but once it did, now I just saw your thing a little ago where he's got another one. I was like, oh, wow. So we just can't let it go. We're just going to keep making it worse and worse.
I know.
Because there's good thing there's nothing important out there that the courts really have to deal with other than video game stuff,
Oh, well, You probably missed all the drama with the gaming because it's now shifted over to trying to shove political messaging into games where it's not wanted, and people are losing their butts, losing their shirts and their studios, and billions of dollars just being lit on fire, and these live service games not even lasting a couple of weeks before they shut it down after pouring hundreds of millions of dollars to make it.
I've caught bits and pieces of it, but yeah, I'm not really knee deep in it like I was.
Yep.
It's just a mess right now on every level. I mean, not just the software side, the hardware side. I got into PC gaming because it gave me the flexibility to use whatever control I wanted, and I can play all the games from all the different generations on one system. And I really got into PC gaming, and I was having a lot of fun with that. And then I think it was probably before COVID hit. Video game GPUs got retarded. RAM chips got way stupid. Now hard drives are getting stupid. AI's wrecking everything across the board. If this computer I'm on right now dies, I don't know that I'll replace it. I don't know if I can really afford to replace it or have the desire to replace it at this point. I looked at the prices and about fell out of my chair. It's insane.
Yeah.
And I hate consoles. They just, the online services, you have to pay to be online. I'm already paying for internet. I'm already paying for the damn game. I've got to pay for all these basically patches for a game that was incomplete, and all these DLC, which really should have been in the game. Some of that stuff's on the disc day one, and you're just unlocking it. And all of it just kind of left an overall sour taste in my mouth, and I just kind of walked away from it for a while. I'm not saying I'm done with gaming. I'm never going to game. I've thought about maybe to play Nibbler again sometime. Reality, though, we moved from a 3-bedroom house to a 1-bedroom apartment. My Nibbler is 12 feet deep in a storage unit somewhere. Well, I know where. I shouldn't say it that way. I know where it's at. I'm not getting rid of it. We've got a lot of stuff that's deep in that storage unit that we can't really access easily, and we don't really want to be there. But life sometimes dictates things that you don't want to do or have to do. And so if I wanted to, I couldn't right now because there's no way to get to it. I'd spend probably a day or two just getting to where I could see the machine. And so that kind of throws that out the window. And that kind of sucks a little bit because I have thought of once in a while, well, it'd be nice to flip the switch and turn it on, play a little bit of Robotron on my multi-Williams machine. I enjoy playing Robotron. Can't do it because I don't have room in our apartment for them. We're looking for a house again, and life happens. You got to roll with the punches and take it as it comes sometimes. So part of it
skyrocketed.
Yeah. Part of it's out of my hands, the room, the space for everything. Some of it is my desire to just kind of put some distance between me and the insanity. And then part of it is because I am wrapped up in a new hobby right now, and I'm having a ball with it. So why not do what's fun right now? In the RC community, we have different racetracks in the area. There's one closer to me, and I choose to race at one farther away. And people think that means I don't like the one closer to me. And I said, well, yes and no. The one closer to me, there's nothing wrong with it. There's nothing wrong with the facility. There's nothing wrong with the people. But it's like if you have two friends and you have a lot of fun hanging out with the one friend, and your other friend's good and you enjoy having time with them too, but you just maybe a little bit less time, a little more moderation with that friend. Doesn't make that a bad friend. You just seem to have more fun when you're doing stuff with the other friend. That's what some of these tracks are to me. And that's what this hobby is to me right now. I drive farther away to have more fun at the place that I have more fun at with the people that I have more fun with. Doesn't make the other people bad people or bad facility. It's just I'm having more fun there now. That could change. That could change next week, next month. It may never change. And as I kind of move from gaming to RC racing, that could change too. That could flip back. It could go in a different direction. I could find a new hobby all the way around. I don't sit here and think, in 6 months, I think I'm going to pick a new hobby. Just the stuff kind of happens organically. The racing really was organically because I retired from my factory job, and I got into RCs just to kill time because I wasn't working, 5-6 days a week anymore. And I was looking for something to go out and enjoy and spend my time and kind of get my butt up and get moving and not just sit all day and munch and play video games. And I've been losing weight because of that. Getting outdoors, doing more walking. RCs, I've told people help me lose weight. And they're like, how do you lose weight with RCs? I said, well, you're not just sitting at a screen playing with a controller. And I don't say that to disparage video gaming. That's a huge part of my life. I'm very proud about it. But it's not as physical as getting up and doing something.
Yeah.
So in that aspect, RC's been good for me. I didn't choose it. I kind of did. I bought one just to get out of the house. And then I kept breaking it, and I kept going to the local hobby store so much. One day the owner says, "Are you looking for a job? You're here 2-3 times a week anyway. You might as well get paid for coming here." I'm like, "What are we talking about?" And we started talking, and I started working there. Well, then when you're at a hobby store all the time, you meet the customers, you meet the people, you meet racers, you meet non-racers, and one thing led to another, and I started racing, and that's my hobby now. It's been a lot of fun. But video games was what, 2/3 of my life, really, from well, more than that, really.
Yeah.
The 90s and all the way up into the 20s, I played video games. So 30, 40 years I played video games.
Yeah.
Not totally hardcore all the time, every year across all that time and space. There were breaks in time. There was breaks because the crash happened in the 80s. Arcades kind of died off. Nintendo came back, brought it back for a while. Things kind of faded out for a little while. Then, the consoles heated up again, the PlayStation 2 and some of the other newer consoles kind of put it more in the forefront again. And PC gaming made big leaps. And then you got the retro arcades coming back. Everything old is new again. And so, I mean, I never got away from it, but I wasn't there the whole time either necessarily. That's why I made that reference earlier. I like to visit it from time to time, but I don't want to live there. There's certain gamers out there that have never really moved past it. That's their whole, apparently it presents itself as that's their whole life. That's their whole identity. That's everything they're about. And I've never had any one thing that has been my whole life. If it is, it's racing.
This is the depiction of the type of racing you're doing.
This is actually not. This is what got me started into RCs off-road, but I'm actually doing oval. I'm doing oval racing.
Okay.
I'm not as good at this, and there's less places around here that do it, so it's kind of hard to hone your skills. You got to travel a little bit more. Nothing but respect for these guys. I've seen some of these guys just blow my mind at how good they are. Yeah. And on a local level, I'm getting pretty good during the oval stuff, and it's just like real oval racing in that I've had friends over the years go, "You just watch cars go in circles. So isn't that boring?" And the answer is, to me, no. It seems simple. Turn left, go fast, right? Yeah. There's way more to it than that. I think road racing with an RC is probably easier because you set a car up more neutral because it has to turn left and right. On an oval, we're focused on just turning left. So you do everything you can to make that car better in every possible way to do that one specific thing that you want it to do the best. And the person that figures that out and then can control it, hand-eye coordination, video gaming helped out a lot in that area. I've always played games, so I've had, as I get older, I'm not maybe as slow as some people might have been at my age otherwise. You don't use it, you lose it, I've heard. Playing video games, I think, definitely translates to having a radio, having a controller, controlling an RC car. A lot of similarities there. And I think that was why it's been a fairly, there we go. I think that's why it's been a fairly easy transition for me because there are a lot of similarities.
The type of track I was thinking of was one that had a raised mill to keep the car locked in the lane. And that's the one that Elkhart has. Okay. But this is like a flat track where you're.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm doing right there. That's that class that you're showing right now. I just built a brand new car for that specific type of class. It's a late model. It's a dirt late model. And those things are fun to drive. You see how they're actually drifting, their ass ends kind of coming out sideways, and you're in a controlled drift, but then you're also racing with 6 other people that are trying to be in a controlled drift, and you're all wanting to be in the same place, sometimes at the same time. And if you watch it, it's not super exciting maybe to a spectator, but when you get the controller in your hand, man, there is a rush of adrenaline that I didn't see coming. As much as I grew up around this kind of racing, watching real race cars and enjoying that, I went and watched the RC cars and I was yawning, and within an hour I was bored and I left. I was done. It just seemed boring. But a buddy of mine was running a track here locally, and he goes, no, you got to come drive one. I got an extra car for you to drive. Yeah, that was probably a mistake in hindsight. I mean, a good mistake. But once I drove it, the first race I raced, I got third and I was on the podium. 2 days later, I bought my first car. Yeah, it's been an addiction ever since.
Stock car racing, when you got behind the wheel of one of those.
I didn't actually get a race. They kind of presented something that wasn't quite real there in that documentary.
Okay.
So what happened with all that? A friend of mine had a stock car that she owned, and her boyfriend drove it. And I think it was more to make him jealous than anything. But the idea through the off season over the winter was she had talked to me about potentially driving it and racing it in the upcoming season. This was during the documentary. So Tim and Andy, during one of their calls, when they called, they said, "So how are things with you and Tina? What's going on? Anything new?" And Tina, I think, mentioned it, said, "Well, Tim might be driving a stock car at some point this next year." And that just really piqued their interest. And they got super excited about it. So then it was nothing. I mean, literally it was nothing. It was a conversation that went nowhere. And her and her boyfriend got back together. He drove the car, so there was no Tim racing. But Tim and Andy wouldn't let it go. The idea of somehow having footage of me driving a stock car for what only could be in their head, what did this have to do with Nibbler? Speed, maybe? But they were just set on somehow they had to get footage of this. And they put that together where I was able to go out here to one of our big races here locally and just hot lap. It wasn't an actual competitive race. It was just hot lapping before the race with other actual racers. It was fun. I never actually got to do that before. And that was a very enjoyable, very memorable night. I'd love to be able to race one, but the money thing, I can't afford to jump in somebody's car and go out there and potentially tear their car up, especially before the races on the biggest race of the year, which is what that was that night. So there were some really talented guys out there that had a lot of money that's been doing this for a lot of years. And the footage, what little footage they used, those guys made me look way better than I had any right to look. They were way faster than I was. And there was some good editing. And it was fun, though. It was a fun night.
How hard is it to control one of those cars versus the car you drive to work every day?
A lot. There's a lot of horsepower. It's instant. I mean, it's not you speed up to pass somebody. I mean, you start to put your foot down and it goes. But you're also on a dirt track and you're limited on traction. You have so much horsepower that you can have the most horsepower in the world. And if you can't put it to the track, it doesn't matter how much you have. So there is a little bit of finesse in the driving. You can't just grab the wheel and put your foot to the floor and go because you're going to spin out. It was different than I expected. And I've drove fast. I've, been down the highway, either driving or riding with somebody going 140, 150 miles an hour. These stock cars are going half that speed, but they seem faster than that because you're in control of it and you're sliding because you don't have that great traction. And then you got all these other cars that are doing the same thing, beside you. And it's a rush. I can't explain it, but they're very quick. The steering is quick. The throttle is quick. They're very lightweight. There's nothing in those cars that doesn't need to be there. There's no air conditioner. There's no heater. There's no passenger seats. They're stripped down to their bare minimum. The only things that's there is what's needed. So they're lighter, they're faster, they're quicker. And the guys that do that and do it well have a lot of talent, a lot of laughs, a lot of time, and a lot of patience to get that good. Some people can just jump in and there's born naturals at everything. But most people really have to put the effort and the time in to achieve that kind of the skill set to do that stuff. So yeah, I never raced. I almost wish they hadn't done that because people thought I actually raced and I didn't. And I told them that was very staged, very controlled environment. That was not hey Tim, go race. But it was fun still. For what it was a lot of fun that night.
Certainly not the same as driving a go-kart.
No, not at all.
I know there's that for the at amusement parks.
Yep. I've had every place I've had a chance to run go-karts, I've done it. A friend of mine down in Tennessee, I lived down there for a while, and there's a couple places down there that had go-kart tracks where you go rent the cart. You could get so many laps or so much time, and instead of going out like I used to do, maybe when I was younger, we'd go to concerts and maybe go out and drink some beer or whatever. Instead, we'd go to the go-kart track down there and we'd go rent the go-karts for an hour and just go out and run laps on the go-kart with each other and just have fun, just racing against each other, friendly, in a controlled, safe environment. But it was still fun. It was still competition. I guess the competition drives me on everything I do. I don't like to lose. If you beat me at anything, you earned it. I never give it.
All right. So we'll go to the game itself. I know the what. You don't have to tell me the what because I do know the what.
Okay.
I want to know the why.
Which why specifically? What are you asking?
On why did you gravitate to Nibbler? and chase that one so hard?
Okay, so that's kind of a two-part question almost. I'll answer it in two ways. People that I've worked with think I'm great at video games. Now, I'm very, very good. I'm not even sure if I can use the word great anymore because it's fallen and I haven't played for a long time. I'm very good to potentially great at one, which was Nibbler. I didn't choose it. It happened. It was an organic thing. I mean, I've put a quarter in every arcade game I've ever seen, probably in every arcade I've ever been in my life. And it was the speed. I think it goes back to the racing thing. It was the speed that attracted me to it. As it got faster, it's like, yeah, this is fun. That's why I like Robotron. It's quick and it's just mayhem. And Nibbler's fast. When you start, it's like, oh, come on, get to level 32. It's just so slow. Can we fast forward? And then it gets going. It's like, okay, now we can play and we can have fun. So the speed attracted me to it. But I'd walked in, like the documentary showed in the cartoon segment, I walked in and saw Tomasaki playing it. It was his quest. He's the one that came up with the idea. The first person to score 1 billion points. Mm-hmm. I never considered that. It was never on my radar. I never thought of it. I never heard of Nibbler, never seen Nibbler. Tom came from Bozeman to Ottumwa, and he was playing Nibbler at Twin Galaxies to try to become the first 1 billion point game. Very much like that cartoon segment depicted. I walked in, I'm like, why is everybody watching it? What's the big deal? It just went right over my head. I didn't realize the score he had, how many hours he'd been playing it. And I was the smart ass little kid. Well, it doesn't matter what he gets. I walked up, put my quarter on it. I got next. Whatever he gets, I'm just going to wipe it off anyway. Right. But I did. As soon as he was done, I put my quarter in. I played it. I'm like, wow, this game's hard. And something made me put another quarter in and another. And I don't know. I finally got good at it, I guess. I didn't choose it. It happened for whatever reason. I don't know why. I wish I did. I wish I could explain it. Say, because I like the graphic, or I like the designer, or I like the company that made it, or the music drew me to it. And I think it was just the speed. Because when I saw Tom playing it, he was at speed, so it was quick. It was fast. It wasn't I'm falling asleep playing this game. So that was the first challenge, was to get to his speed. Because when you put the quarter in, it's slow. It's like, this isn't what I was just watching, because I didn't see him start the game. Yeah. So I was like, this kind of sucks. This is slow. This isn't, I got to get to his speed, but it was still hard enough. I struggled. Like anybody else put a quarter in that game the first time. It takes your money. Video games are designed to take your money, not let you play for a long time. And Walter, he fostered the environment there at Twin Galaxies that, he pushed people to be better than what they probably could have or would have been just on their own. I've been to other arcades where if you played too long and there was quarters lined up on the machine, the arcade owner would walk up, pull your plug and said, you get your 25 cents, move on. There's other people waiting to play. Walter didn't do that. He encouraged you to play, to get good. And at a detriment to himself. If I went to Twin Galaxies, once I started getting good, if I went there at the beginning of the day when they opened it, I put a quarter in Nibbler, Walter made 25 cents on Nibbler all day long because nobody else got to play it. It was just me. So he lost money by me playing that game every time I did that because nobody else could play it. So he saw something in the value of the high scores and these gamers that he called us like esport. He didn't use the word esports. I don't even want to use that word.
Right.
I don't like that word being tied to classic arcade gaming. I really don't. He saw the value in the high scores and the video game athletes, I think is what he called us back then. And he encouraged us, which was different. Most other things, if you played sports, parents encouraged their child. They would go cheer their child at the Little League game or at the BMX race or at the basketball game or whatever. And here's a stranger that owns a business that's encouraging people to get better at games, sometimes to his own detriment, as far as financially, the money he's making. And it was a different environment. I'd never experienced something like that before. So it drew me in. It kept me wanting to go back. And then what really, I guess, probably got me chasing a score was seeing these other players come. I wasn't the first, not even close. My hometown, Ottumwa, Iowa, has Twin Galaxies. I had never seen Twin Galaxies. The first time I saw Twin Galaxies was on That's Incredible. I lived in the town that the arcade game was at that it was filmed in, and I'd never been there. Because like I'm into RCs now, at that point in time, I was into BMX racing. My life was about bikes. I was always on my bike. I was always at the track. I was always practicing jumping. I was an Evil Knievel kid. I grew up in the 70s watching him jump Caesar's Palace fountains. And that was my life at that point. And then I'm sitting there at home one night watching That's Incredible. I had a crush on Kathy Lee Gifford when I was younger. So I would watch That's Incredible to watch Kathy on the show. And Twin Galaxies in Ottumwa, Iowa, what the hell is this? You know, and I'm sitting there watching. I'm like, wow, I've got to go check this place out, you know? And then I started going there. And just like the guys that were on the segment on the show that night, you never knew who you were going to see when you walked in there. You know, I started looking at the game magazines. And I started seeing names like Ben Gold. I can't even think of half the names right now. I feel bad saying that. It's just because I've kind of.
Let me see if I can remember some.
Mark Robichuk. I remember him.
Obviously, Billy Mitchell.
Obviously.
Oh God.
Steve Harris. Steve Harris was my early idol. He was one of them. He was from the Kansas City area. He used to come up all the time. If the name doesn't ring a bell with you, it probably should. Electronic Gaming Monthly. Steve Harris was one of the ones that founded that. So he was always there, and he was just a great all-around gamer. Him and Ben Gold were. Ben was probably a little more laser focused. I remember him playing Satan's Hollow and Millipede, and he would just go after, some games. Or Steve, I could just see him. He could literally jump on anything, and he was good at everything he did. He didn't suck at anything, and he excelled a lot on a lot of different games. So he was fun to watch. And then you had other people like Billy. Billy was quite good at what he did, but he was kind of like Ben in a way. For whatever focused him on whatever titles, he got really good at them. And I believe at one time he held 6 different world records. I know he had Donkey Kong Jr., Miss Pac-Man, Burger Time.
Yeah.
I'm forgetting a couple, but it was that core group. He didn't just play everything. Like the trailer says, did I ever think about getting good at Nibbler? No. He played it and he sucked at it because he didn't want to get good at it. I'm not saying he couldn't have gotten good at it. It didn't do anything for him. He just wasn't good at it because he didn't play it because he didn't care. That was my take on it anyway. He could have maybe gotten great at it, maybe not. He can run patterns. I've seen him do it on Pac-Man,
Yeah.
And there's patterns, but Miss Pac-Man was more grouping than just pure patterns, or Pac-Man was more pure patterns. Yeah. So I know he could master a pattern game, so that was never a question. So I'm sure he could have gotten good if he just cared enough to try it. Kind of glad he didn't. You probably wouldn't be sitting here talking to me if he had.
Yeah, he said it best. Forgot who Mr. Perfect was, but he's somebody I think.
And Mr. Perfect,
somebody I previously know, not the wrestler. It's a gamer. I think he's one of the kill screen guys.
I guess Greg? I haven't.
Maybe that's Greg.
I've not heard that name tied to a kill screen gamer. Huh.
He's in the chat, so.
We're talking Donkey Kong, Pac-Man. When you say kill screen, which game are you talking?
Be Pac-Man, obviously. If you're looking at because you see the maze there.
Oh, yeah, I wasn't looking over there. Yeah, okay, Greg's on.
Yes, he's hanging
out. Mr. Perfect.
Anyway, so the first billion. Interesting question. I don't think we're gonna ever know who got the first million score on any video game, because Pac-Man.
It didn't seem as monumental. And I'm not trying to make mine sound better or cut theirs down in any way, but there were so many games that you could get a million on. You know? It wasn't like you had to play for days to get a million, or an extended period of time.
Yeah.
So I don't think anybody really who got the first 1,000 points game. Who got the first 10,000, 100,000. I don't think anybody focused on it. But then once you started getting into the millions and you got into some of the higher millions, then Tom came up with the idea. That was all Tomasaki.
I did have to research because I was kind of curious. You got the first billion score on any video game, but who got the first trillion on any video game?
I do not know the answer.
Then who got the first quadrillion on a game and the first quintillion? And it actually does depend on the title and the scoring system.
Oh, yeah. What is it? GigaWings and GigaWings 2 just have insane scoring thresholds.
Yes.
I was with Walter over in the Chicago area for it wasn't Midwest Gaming Classic. It was a smaller one. Absolutely can't think of it at the moment. But we went to an arcade on the Friday night before that, and Giga Wings 2 was there. Never seen it, never heard of it. We were just playing games. I played it. Walter's standing there watching me play it, and this game scores so stupid fast. Probably in 2 minutes, I had 1 billion points. And I looked at Walter and I said, bet you never thought you'd see me get 1 billion points again, did you? And I think it was lost on him because of the rate that game scored. I mean, it probably went up to, I don't know, hundreds of trillions, maybe what's next? Quintillions, quadrillions?
So at this point in time, and I'm going to throw up gameplay of the game, GigaWing 1 had scores in the trillions, and that was released first, and I believe the recorded score on Twin Galaxies, the oldest one that I could find, I believe we're going to credit Alex Landrios as getting the first trillion score, or at least getting the first official recorded score of 1 trillion for Twin Galaxies. But the sequel added more digits.
Yeah, it was insane.
I have down, and Twin Galaxies has it recorded, that the first quadrillion score and the first quintillion score, which is, gosh, let's see, million, it has 7 digits, billion has 10 digits, trillion has 13 digits, so it's 10 to the power of 15 and 18. So JC Padilla, I believe, has basically the highest recorded score on any video game in history.
Giga Wings 2.
Giga Wings 2, yes.
I thought that name sounded familiar. So, I don't know if this is why Tom thought of it or if he thought of it all on his own. I never did ask him the question, and quite honestly, I didn't even really consider it until I'm sitting here thinking about it right now. So one of the reasons I think the billion kind of seemed mythical at the time, I think the game is called Victory, maybe. It's been so long, I don't remember. There was a game, though, the score stopped. It stopped 5 points short of 1 billion. Mm-hmm. It didn't roll over, so you couldn't get 1 billion. It puts you right there and it says, no, can't have it. And the score just
maxed out.
Yeah, it maxed out. And that was the highest score on Twin Galaxies that I remember before my score. But I'm not saying that was Tom's, that was what pushed him to try to do it on Nibbler. I think he came up with Nibbler without probably even being, recognizing that other score was sitting there. I knew it was sitting there because I was local to Twin Galaxies. And the scoreboard at the time was a spiral notebook.
Yeah.
With penciled in scores. And we'd go down there after school on weekends and stuff, and we'd walk in, we'd grab the notebook, the scoreboard, and we would sit and look through it, And that one jumped out because it's this long score. And, oh, wow, if you could have got 5 more points, you would have got 1 billion. So then Walter, Tom, I believe, started the idea, maybe because of that game, maybe not. No idea. Never asked, not speculating. But Walter was Barnum and Bailey. He was the promoter. He's the one that kept comparing it to the 4-minute mile. It doesn't matter how many times it's beat later. It's who did it first. Mm-hmm. So I had Walter doing that, sending out clips to the newspapers and the local TV stations and tune in as Tim tries to get as Tom originally tries to get the first billion. Then as the local kid, Tim tries to get the first billion. And you had Walter that was pushing all that narrative and making something out of nothing that nobody else would have been paying any attention to if you didn't have Walter standing here saying, hey, look at this, look at this, look at this, drawing attention to it. So a lot of these guys that came later, well, once the billion was done, my perception of it is they didn't have that so much. Walter, the scoreboard kind of died. The 80s kind of crashed and things kind of fell apart there for a while. So there's some gamers that unfortunately just time and space, they were at the wrong place at the wrong time, didn't get that kind of promotion, didn't get that kind of presentation. So there's probably a lot of stuff out there like that we don't even know about that actually happened. Mm-hmm. And that's why you probably had a hard time. What was the first trillion? What was the first? Because Walter wasn't there pushing it, promoting it, making an event out of it, making a day out of it and stuff like that. And he made it bigger than it was. He really did.
I think the quintillion score was actually done on a console version of Gigwing 2 and not the arcade game, but I have no idea. But
I'm curious what how long they had to play to do that. Because I know when I got the billion on Gigawings 2, it was minutes. I mean, because I just dropped the quarter and played it and got a billion points. I've never played the game before, and I'm not good at it. You know, it scores that fast. So I was curious. It'd be neat to see.
It probably the game from start to finish. If it's a 1cc score, probably. I know arcade games kind of from start to finish go between 15 minutes to an hour. If it's a game like Rampage World Tour, you're going to be playing it for hours before you go 1cc, but you're going to be pumping a lot of quarters in the meantime, and it won't be a 1cc. But
I did kind of feel bad during the documentary the first time I watched it, when they were talking to the guys that made Nibbler. Mm-hmm. And they asked them, what did you think when Tim got the billion points? And the one kind of went, Matt, we failed. And I was like, oh, I never thought about that. You know, I made the programmer feel bad because his job is to take money out of my pocket. And I was like, you're not getting any. So when I saw that, I was like, wow, I never considered that. I did kind of feel bad for a moment. And I was like, oh, well, I'm glad I did it, you know, because somebody would have done it. Somebody's always pushing something, you know.
I kind of like the new system where you pay for a day pass and then you just play for however long you're there until close, which is how I do Galloping Ghost, run up to Galloping Ghost, although I buy the year-to-year pass.
I don't know if they'd ever considered that back in the day. When the competition started ramping up, at least in small town Southeast Iowa, where we had 3 arcades at one point, their way to fight each other at that point, instead of doing like a day pass, was tokens. Yeah. So Twin Galaxies was still not on tokens. So you put $1 in the machine, you get 4 quarters. Yeah. The arcade down the street, you put $1 in the machine, you got 5 tokens. So they were trying to drag you down there by giving you more gameplay. Would have been neat if somebody would have tried that, you know, the day pass thing then. I wonder what would have happened if there would have been a crash back then, or if there would have been more addicts back then, or maybe people would have got bored sooner because they be like eating at a buffet. You can only eat so much and you kind of get tired of it.
So I kind of wrote down what different stuff. Oh, we jumped to this. So the question is, who has the Nibbler? Can't talk. Who has the Nibbler world record now? The documentary went ahead a few years, but once we got into the 2020s, it changed hands a few more times. And as of May 11th, 2023, a gentleman out of the country of Italy played Nibbler for 53 hours and achieved a score of 1.233 billion points. His name is Alexander Porro.
I had not heard that. Like I told you, I haven't been following this. The last one I knew that pushed it up, I cannot think of his name, and I feel bad saying that because I was talking to him and everything, and I was watching when he did it. He was from Australia. Kibby?
So he is second place with slightly, also a 1.2.
Okay. I thought that score sounded, yeah.
Well, the new world record was, it beat the old one by only 300,000.
He beat it and quit.
Yes, probably. After
I'm sure.
53 hours.
I think I could do it. I just don't really care enough to try. To be honest with you, I always thought I was going to go for 50 hours at 50 or older. That idea is still kicking around in the back of my head. That game's painful. Yeah. You can't play a game for 30, 40, 50 hours and not have pain in your feet, in your ass from setting, in your shoulders, in your neck. And the older you get, the worse it gets. When I was 16, I didn't hurt. I might have got a blister, but I don't think I really did because I raced BMX. I had calluses from my handlebar grips. I had calluses from always being in the arcade using joysticks. I've got little girl hands now. I have no calluses because I haven't done any hard labor or been doing anything. radio controlled is not real hard, and there are no calluses really on it, soft foam steering wheel. So I don't have any desire to do that. I mean, I want to play Nibbler. The 50 at 50 still sounds cool. I like the idea when I said it. I still like the idea. And I do like to challenge myself. I still think that I can stay up long enough. I still think I'm good enough at the game, potentially. Don't know. Haven't played it for a while. But I'm pretty sure I can close my eyes and still see all the correct patterns. So part of me wants to almost try it. And then part of me is like, are you stupid? You've already done this twice. Why would you do it again? There's no incentive to do it again at this point.
I will say this. I didn't win Gamer of the Year at Galvin Ghost until age 50.
There's some things you get better at,
Well, there's also the factor of I didn't really score chase back when I was a teenager because there really wasn't an easy way to record scores, as it mentioned in the documentary.
Yep.
You had to hook up something to a VCR if you wanted your gameplay recorded. I mean, I wasn't into mailing tapes.
Right.
We had these film cameras, and you don't know if it got a picture of the screen because of that refresh bar.
Yep.
Digital
you
cameras.
find out when it got developed and your pictures came back and you either had the pic or you didn't.
And then these make things much easier.
Oh,
Obviously, video cameras got a lot cheaper. I use a video camera to film my gameplay when I'm chasing the score at Galloping Ghost. Thank goodness for that. But I didn't get into score chasing until my 40s to any serious score chase until like 2013.
So I don't know if I've ever said this on camera or not, honestly. When I took that score back, when I did the last billion that I got and reclaimed the record, I wasn't nearly as tired as I led on to be. I just didn't want to play anymore.
Yeah.
I was done. But I just didn't want to say, well, I quit. So I was like, I'm really tired. I'm going to go take a shower. And I went and took a shower, and I'm like, I wonder how many guys I've lost. Is the game getting close to being over? And I went back, and I'm like, oh, crap. I still got all these guys left. So I tried to kill it off and make it look better than it was. Not thinking somebody was really going to keep pushing the score up. And then once they did, I'm like, damn it. I could have played probably another 10 hours at that point. Easy. I really wasn't that tired. I just didn't want to. There was no incentive. Once I did it, it's like, okay, I got it. I'm good. I'm done. I did what I said I was going to do as a kid. If it gets beat, I'm going to take it back. I kept that word. I never expected it to be a quarter century later, but I did. I didn't say I'd keep taking it back. And ironically for me, both times I scored the billion, it was on my 7th attempt each time. Mm-hmm. And you add up all those hours across 7 attempts, there's hundreds of hours tied up there. I don't want to do that again. I don't care to do that again. Where I'm working right now, I could. I work Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday in a hobby store. So I have a 4-day weekend every weekend, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, every week. But Friday's usually race prep day. Saturday and Sunday's racing somewhere. Then Monday's my day off with my wife. And then I go to work for 3 days, and then I do it again. So
I wish I could, but there's so many distractions.
I miss the 5-6 day paycheck. I do not miss the 5 to 6 day work week. For so long, you aren't making money. You're selling time off your life that you'll never get back. And you don't realize it when you're younger, because you got to have the money. You got to pay your bills. You got to buy the stuff you want. You got to live. You got all that stuff. But then when you get older, you realize, now you have all this stuff and you still haven't really got to enjoy it because you don't have the time. And time becomes more valuable than money. And then how you allocate that time is even more important because I'm 59 years old. Is today my last day? I don't know. I hope not.
Tomorrow is not guaranteed.
Yeah. So every day is a choice. You have 24 hours today, maybe less. You never know. So I'm trying to do things that I enjoy, that I have fun with, and trying to make something out of my time. To me now, I was very, very materialistic when I was younger. I'm not going to tell you that's all gone. I don't think I can just discard it. That's kind of human nature at this point in time. But I don't really care so much about all the stuff I have as much as the time I get to spend with my friends now. Yeah. Because I don't get that back. I can't create that just anytime I want. I can go to the store and buy something anytime I want if I got money. but I don't always have the time because my friends are married. They have kids. They have jobs. I have a wife. I have a job. I've got hobbies. Just finding the time for us to get together and do things we used to do becomes more rare and more rare and more rare. So the time becomes more of a thing for me as I get older. So based on that, I don't really want to tie my ass to a Nibbler machine for an entire weekend.
I will say this. During the pandemic, a lot of people work from home. There's still a lot of people who want to work from home.
Yeah.
Ironically, I was not one of those who I did not enjoy work from home at all. All I did was procrastinate all day because all the distractions, cats, game systems, and it's like, and I was hopping mad at how the government was handling the pandemic because I think they were doing it completely wrong. And so I was doing a lot of video editing, making videos complaining about how the government responds.
I worked from home for the majority of it, and I liked it because where I worked then and now, I'm driving an hour a day to work and then an hour a day home. Yeah. And that's time I don't get paid for, and that's time I don't get back, and it's kind of time wasted. I mean, of course, I choose where I work, but where I live, I don't have a lot of choices on jobs. I chose where I live too. Gas money is ridiculous right now. Yeah. So all that factors into all that. I don't know. I get pulled in too many directions, and then I find something that's fun, and that's more what I want to focus on. You know, tomorrow it could be video games. When I played Diablo more recently, I had a lot of fun because I hadn't done it for a while, and I was like, good grief, I can't believe how much stuff I forgot. I had to kind of relearn it again. Yeah. Could be a thing on Nibbler even. I sit here and say, oh, I remember the patterns. I can say it all day long, but until you put the joystick in my hand, maybe I do, maybe I don't. I just don't have the desire to spend a weekend doing that. And some people could argue and say, you're spending the whole weekend doing RC cars. What's the difference? Well, the difference is when I'm playing Nibbler, I'm sitting in my house pretty much by myself playing Nibbler. Might have people watching online. Yeah. But it's not the same thing. It's not the same thing as going to the track with 60 to 100 other people. And you walk into the building and, hey, Tim, how's it going? Hey, Tim, we got donuts over here. Hey, Tim, you want a piece of pizza? What's going on, buddy? How's your week been? How's Tina doing? It's just a total different interaction. And I mean, it wasn't that day one. You know, day one, it's like, who's this guy? You know? But the tracks I race at, the ones I enjoy are the ones that people are really friendly, and it makes me want to go there because I enjoy the time. It's honestly, if I'm being totally honest, I like RC racing. I like my cars, but I can almost not do that and spend that time with those people and hang out with them. Because when we're talking, some of it's about RC racing, a lot of it's not. We're bullshitting about life. We're talking about sports, talking about family, talking about friends, telling jokes, something we saw on Facebook that made us laugh, you know, whatever. And it's the hanging out with the people. But I never was a huge people person. I'm still not sure that I am, but on that scale, it works and it's fun. And I enjoy that more than I enjoy sitting home doing this. No offense to you or anybody watching. I mean, I'm glad to be on here. I haven't done this for a while, so this is a nice change of pace. Yep. An unexpected surprise when you reached out to me and asked me about doing this. It's like, oh, shit, somebody does still remember me a little bit, you know? Made me feel kind of good.
I know quite a number of people. It's like I'm doing this every week, and it's like there's so many people out there that I'd like to reconnect with that I've met over the years. And yes, I was at the movie premiere at that theater in Ottumwa, sat with Paul Zimmerman. He's coming to Springfield this weekend for Midwest Comic Con along with Paul Niemeyer.
Nice.
Jeez. I was at Big Bang. Obviously the Midwest Gaming Classic, I've got a 20 con streak going.
Yeah, I remember meeting you more than once. I definitely remember seeing you at these events.
I went up to Lincoln to go see you too for that signing at that comic shop. Yep. Primary Colors. That's what it was.
Yep. I don't know if he's totally closed up right now or not.
He's running the Midwest.
But he's closing down the comic store. He was liquidating and closing that down.
Yes,
nice guy.
That was fun. He's still doing the conventions and the cons. In the meantime, he's just not gonna run a shop.
Yeah.
I will point this
out.
Life
focus changes sometimes.
Yes. I will point this out. You made up a good point. the social interactions of the RC community. That's probably why the Tetris community, the fighting game community, the pinball community, Mario Kart community is so active because everybody's interacting with each other at tournaments and stuff.
I remember Evo being huge and the people that went there and did the tournaments, the fighting tournaments and stuff. And that appeals to me more than just the general gaming thing and the score chasing. That kind of goes back to the arcade days, hanging out in the arcade. We go to the arcade, we didn't have money, watch other people play, hang out, talk video games, obviously it wasn't about social media back then. It was more about video games or bike racing or girls or bands, concerts, whatever kids were talking about. But it was the same thing. You went and hung out with your friends. You knew where everybody was because you go by the arcade and you see all their bikes lined up out front. So, that's where they're at.
Yeah. Well, you kind of alluded to it much earlier. How did this become a documentary?
So Tim and Andy, the guys that did the doc, they worked on Battlestar Galactica. I believe they were editors, if I remember correctly. And I don't remember who did it, but one of the two smuggled a MAME arcade cabinet into the studio. Mm-hmm. So when they were on breaks and stuff, they start playing games. Well, somewhere along the line, they basically said, you know what, let's just start at A and let's just play through all these games. And they come across Nibbler, and I think it was Tim that got 1,000,000 points. Mm-hmm. And they were like, oh my God, we got 1,000,000. 1,000,000, mind you. We got 1,000,000 points on Nibbler. This is really fast. That's a really high score. I wonder what the world record is. And they looked it up and they found my 1,000,000,000-point score. And they're like, that's not real. That's a type. Nobody got 1,000,000,000 points on that game. So then it was on Twin Galaxies. So they reached out to Walter and contacted him. And he'd had my number from, I think, the world record book that he put out, the first one he published. I went with him and did a signing up in Des Moines one time. So he still had my number. So he got a hold of me and he's like, Tim Kinsey and Andrew Seckler are wanting to talk to you about doing a documentary. And at the time, it was supposed to be just like a 10, 15 minute short form, straight to YouTube. And that was it. What happened from when you did this as a kid to now? I don't know what the whole focus was in 15 minutes.
Yeah.
But anyway, I said, sure, you can give them my number, my email, whatever, have them get a hold of me if they want to talk to me. And time passed and I forgot about it. I'm not talking like days. It was weeks or maybe even months. It had been a while. I completely forgot about it. When my phone rang, I'm like, I don't know that number. Hello? And he starts telling me who he is. I'm like, who? What? What are you calling for? Oh, you talked to Walter. Okay. First I thought it was a prank call, Yeah. But by this time, so it started because of the MAME machine and Tim seeing that score, getting that score. But then somewhere between that and them contacting me, King of Kong was out and they had watched that. And I think that kind of changed their focus maybe a little bit on doing a longer documentary. Mm-hmm. And then they met me, they came out to Iowa, they looked at newspaper clippings, photos my mom had, memorabilia from, back in the day. And they photographed it, videoed it, scanned it, and kind of went on their way. And then just like one thing led to another, and it kept growing. They tracked down the programmers of the game. They found a machine. They acquired it. They sent it to me in Iowa. They came back. They filmed more footage. The more stuff I told them, and the more they dug into stuff, the more engrossed in the whole story they became. The Enrico Zanetti score, was that real? Did that happen? And then Dwayne got involved. He, at this point in time, I believe Dwayne was trying to get 1 billion already for whatever reasons. I don't remember him ever telling me. I remember he said he wanted to see what it looked like. He just wanted to do it, but I don't know what started him on the quest. I never did ask the question. But so now they had Dwayne displaying it. They got me displaying it. So then they decided, try to get us together. And it just, it took on a life of its own. And it took a long time too. It's every 3-day weekend I was glued to Nibbler because they were coming out to film me on Memorial Day. They were coming out on Labor Day. They were coming out on 4th of July. They were coming out, you got to try it again? Are you going to try for the score? It became a job for a while, I was working. And it's like, I got a 3-day weekend. I'm off work. No, you're not. You're not even off. You're playing Nibbler all weekend. And it was fun for a while, and then it wasn't. I was glad when it was finally done. I thought they did a really good job with it. But, I mean, it all started from that MAME cabinet. And then I think King of Kong coming out change their focus a little bit. And then just the characters. Dwayne's a hell of a character. That guy can tell stories. He's fun to talk to. He can entertain you for hours. You never get bored listening to him. When we met out in Alexandria, Virginia at what was that called? MagFest. The 7th fest at the time was the year we went. And when our games failed, when we didn't achieve our goals, we had an extra day we were there. We're downstairs in the it's not really a lounge, whatever the food place was. We were down there.
Yeah.
We ordered some food.
Food court.
Yeah, basically. We were eating and just talking and bullshitting. And me and Dwayne had just talk about stuff because our paths crossed, but never directly. He was in Ottumwa. He was at Twin Galaxies. I never met him. I was obviously in Ottumwa. I was there. He never met me. We knew a lot of the same people from the same era. We just our paths never crossed. So he had stories. I had stories. We just found each other interesting. We're talking. Lost in the fact of all this is my wife just sitting here listening to these two nerds talk video games endlessly. Dwayne gets up and goes to the bathroom. I'm looking at her. I'm like, oh, shit. You've been sitting here for hours listening to us babble. I said, you want me to excuse us and we can go up to our room and, get out of this conference? No, keep talking. She's listening to you and Dwayne. It's like watching fire in a fireplace. I can sit and do this for hours. I'm like, what's wrong with you? Didn't think about it. The answer is a lot because, she married me. So there's definitely some issues there. But yeah, she said, no, keep going. I'm having fun just listening to you guys talk. Been some interesting times along the way, and she's seen most of them, good and bad.
Have you heard from Dwayne lately? Because I
not for a while.
Went looking for him, and he's kind of off the grid.
As far as I know, I have his phone number and his email. I could try to get a hold of him and see what's going on. It's been we're in April.
Yeah, we're
probably.
in April. Uh-oh.
May or June.
Won't find him.
Won't find him?
I wonder why.
Was this like went on vacation, came back on probation? And is there more to this story that we're
I don't know. About? I know that he put out a couple of documentaries on
the King of Kong.
The King of Kong. I will say that I have played against Dwayne Richard. When? It was actually the first T20 that I entered at Galloping Ghost Arcade, and I believe this was 2015. I was pretty much locked horns with him on the side tournament because I was going back and forth on Xenophobe and the other 4 games, although pretty much it was Xenophobe and Blaster. I could not I kept losing about the same part of the game, and he ended up taking home the $100 prize for winning the side tournament. He's done with gaming now.
He is. That's interesting. Had enough of the shit, I guess. I
would like to talk to Dwayne at some point. Just kind of what's he doing now? Kind of like this interview is touching.
The last time Dwayne was out in New Mexico when we went out there for that Galaga high score. What the hell they call that? Score Wars out there. That's the last time I actually was in a room with him. Actually saw him. Well, no, I take that back. He's been to my house at least once or twice since then. He actually came down to try to go for the billion on Nibbler, and he struggled. He had a hard time trying to get a game going, and he tried for most of 12 to 20 hours. And he finally just, I'm done with this game. Screw it.
Tapped out.
Yep, he was done. Then he played Robotron, put up a really high score, and I had the 20 letters on there for Robotron. I don't remember what he put. Something about beating me. I don't remember. It's been so damn long. It was funny. It was an inside thing with me and him, but I love him. He's a hell of a character. He's a great guy. I got nothing bad to say about Dwayne ever. Tim and Andy, when they were doing the editing and they found his board had sped up because of whatever happened. The way Dwayne explained it to me, if you know Nibbler's got 2 boards that are like spaced apart on standoffs and they're hooked together with ribbon cables.
Yeah.
I remember Dwayne's explanation. His colors were way off at MagFest. They just Drove me nuts because they were the wrong colors. But he said he had problems with his boards, and he took one board from one set, the other board from the other set, put the two boards together, and hey, it works. Yeah, the colors are weird, but it works. Tim and Andy were convinced that he was trying to cheat. So I never for a second supported the idea that he tried to cheat. I don't think he would. I think he has more integrity than that. And they're like, well, you think he would have noticed it? I'm like, Dwayne came to my house and brought his videotape when he actually did get the billion after MagFest. He played it for me. I watched his video footage with him in my house. I've seen, thousands, hundreds of thousands of screens. I watched it. I didn't notice jack shit. It didn't look fast to me until Tim and Andy had it side by side, and you could see how fast it started off and cleared off, and you know how many times you die and start a board. And yeah, it is faster over time. I didn't notice it.
I know. I
didn't make a controversy there that I don't think was ever there.
I did rewatch Man vs. Snake at 1.25 speed. So it actually saved me time to rewatch the movie slightly faster, or time and a half looking at your past interviews. As like I'm still processing all the information just fine.
Did we sound like chipmunks when we were on that, when you were doing it at that speed?
Say again?
Did we sound like chipmunks, like Alvin and the Chipmunks?
No. No, if you brought it to the full double speed, then it would start.
Okay. Interesting.
He was the one who okayed the store and then took it down. He was okay.
Right. That's what I'm saying. If he was trying to cheat, why would he have done that? Why would he have asked for the score to be removed? And I kept trying to tell Tim and Andy that. Yeah. You know, they, for whatever reason, they were like a dog with a bone. They were just, he's cheating. I'm like, no, he's not. You guys are stupid. He's not cheating. Dwayne wouldn't do that. If he did, why would he have it taken down? You know, I never had a problem with it. There was a lot of people that tried to create a problem that didn't exist. And that was one of the things with the documentary. I told the guys early on, I said, you know, I'm an asshole. I know I'm an asshole. I can be an asshole. I have that capability. I can be a really nice guy. The guy that you meet when you talk to me depends a lot on you and how you treat me. If you come at me the wrong way and I think you're an asshole, you're probably going to fight fire with fire, you know? I said, so whatever you guys managed to get for footage throughout the entire duration of this, don't get creative with your editing. Yeah. Don't try to make me look worse than I am. Don't try to make me look better than I am. Make it real. If I did it, if I said it, if you have it on video, use it. But don't get creative with your editing and try to create something that doesn't exist. And for the most part, I think they did a really good job, other than when they were just on that whole slant where Dwayne cheated. You know, it's like they were chasing something that wasn't there. I was happy how they presented it in the doc, though. I mean, they kind of scientifically followed through with it, had the boards, what would you call it, forensic checked.
Tested.
They had a reason. They came up with a solution to why what happened. Yeah. And he didn't cheat. He wasn't trying to cheat. He's a good player. He doesn't need to cheat. Never a question in my mind.
So I mentioned earlier, 53 hours was how long the new world record was achieved. So how long was the longest single gameplay session on a game? I kind of looked this one up.
To my knowledge, I believe John Salter got close to 100 hours, didn't he?
Well, that was bested by someone else, and on a game that I would think would wear you out much quicker. Dance Dance Revolution, the longest run was 144 hours by a gentleman by the name of Sabalik Sepe.
So no offense to him or the dance game or anything like that, but I hate the new rules. So you're not gaming the entire duration. Your game doesn't end because you stop, and you can accumulate break time and all that. That's just a bunch of shit. I've never liked it. Don't care for it. That's not a marathon. No offense to those people. Athletic dancing, holy crap, that kills anything I did, obviously. But it's not the same thing. It's like comparing, I don't know, football to basketball or something. It's two totally different things, in my opinion. And I don't say that disparagingly. I mean, I don't mean it to be. I respect what they did, but it's not the same thing. It's like I used to argue with Rudy. Rudy's like, well, why can't I pause the game? We couldn't put our arcade games. You know, if we walked away, yeah, we could take a break, but we were actively dying while we were away from the game. Our game was getting shorter while we were away. If we screwed around too long, our game ended. You couldn't find a hiding spot. You couldn't just hit the pause button on the controller and pause it. You couldn't take this accumulated break time to where, I get 5 minutes of break time for every hour I played. Well, I can store up 3 hours and I can take a nap. That's not how that worked. You couldn't take a 3 hour break, or I'm not saying they did. I don't know. I don't know the logistics of it. I mean, the rules say you can bank time and you can save it up. You should be able to take however long a break you can take if you want to. I mean, by the way I view it, Cubert, you can build up so many lives. If you can build up all the lives and you can let yourself fall asleep because you're so sure you have so many lives that you can sleep an hour and your game isn't going to end, knock yourself out, man. You've earned it. But you get to earn it because you played an hour, you get a 5 minute break, and you can bank all your time, and now you can pause a game or not go to the next song or the next dance track. Or that's not a marathon. You're taking breaks that we can't take. You know, to me, that's not a marathon.
Okay.
It's a different kind of marathon at a minimum.
Fair enough. But he also had to eat during that time because, you know, you're burning up so many calories because you're dancing so much.
Yeah, I can imagine.
I can't.
Dehydration.
Yeah.
I could see muscle spasms from dehydration from sweat.
I know another girl named Carrie is in the Guinness.
Carrie Swidecki. Isn't it Swiderski?
Yeah.
God, I'm terrible, man. My memory's getting bad. I'm sorry.
I think the first time you guessed the name was correct.
It's been a while since I've heard her name because, like I said, I've kind of removed myself from all this, you know.
Well, she was in the last edition of the Guinness, the 2025 Gamers Edition of Guinness, which I have to toot my own horn a bit. I got in there myself.
Congratulations.
Because
the last one I saw is pre-pandemic. I don't even know what year it would have been. It was in the teens, 17, 18, maybe is the last issue I've seen. Because that's when I started losing interest. And then during the pandemic, I was playing quite a bit, but I was into PC gaming by then. I was playing Diablo 3 and getting in there with my friends and just going in and destroying the seasons on the season ladder and stuff like that. And having some fun with that. And I just wasn't really paying attention to the arcade stuff. And then it got entirely too stupid with the Donkey Kong cheating scandal and losing the Guinness records and suing and getting him back, and Carl Jobst and the lawsuit, and then just and
the current King of Kong, Robbie Lakeman. Certain people didn't want to recognize his score because of the voltage level of the board.
There's always somebody's got to find something to cry about, some reason, some way. These games are 40 years old? They're not good. Oh, I sent it to Nintendo and they certified it. Bullshit. Nintendo doesn't care about a Donkey Kong board today. That's the biggest crock of shit I've ever heard in my life. It's a number on a screen, man. This isn't life and death. It's not brain surgery. It's meant to be fun, and they've made it not fun. And that's why I've kind of removed myself from it. You know, if it
Richard
becomes more
Knuckles
fun,
would agree with that because, you know, he hosted the Kong Offs and he does not want to do another one. Arcade Club in the United Kingdom is going to host a Kong Off in the next month or two. So we'll see how that goes.
Me and Richie, I don't know, we were like oil and water or something there to begin with.
Yeah.
And it wasn't so much him or me, it was other people that were, Tim said this, or Richie said that, or this got done, or that got done. And then it did turn into him kind of stabbing at each other and spitting at each other a little bit. And in the end, I really liked Richie. I think he liked me. I hope he liked me. If he didn't, well, life goes on. I'm still here. I've got no animosity towards anybody in the gaming space. I don't want to be associated with just the utter stupidity of some of the, you know. I've got better things to do. Like I said earlier, time. I don't want to wrap my time up in stupid stuff like that. That's just not fun. I don't have time for stuff that's not fun anymore.
The wrestling stuff has rubbed off into the gaming world.
Very much. Very much.
And yes, I play that game just like everybody else.
Well, if you love gaming and you want to build your persona up, so to speak, and kind of make a name and a space for yourself, you have to promote. I'm slowly learning that on the RC space. Mm-hmm. I'm winning a lot of races locally. I want to move up in classes. I don't have unlimited money, even in RC racing, to go to like national events and stuff like that. you need sponsors. You need to drive for the manufacturers. They actually have manufacturers, that make the car, that sponsors their factory teams and whatnot. So I'm starting to figure out little by little, I have to promote myself. I have to build an image of myself some way, somehow. And I'm trying to do it by, my cars are bright yellow. Mm-hmm. If you see that bright yellow car on the track, there goes Tim. Nobody else is really running yellow. So I'm trying to stand out. I'm trying to make my car bright. I've got a 3-digit number. Most race cars have 1 digit, 2 digits. The 3-digit kind of jumps out. Nobody else has it. So I'm trying to do my own little branding in a way. And it is very wrestling oriented, because if you don't do something to make your image known, so when somebody sees it, they know, hey, that's you. Mm-hmm. You get lost in the shuffle. And if you really want to move up in some of this stuff, you have to somehow brand yourself and become recognizable. But I want to do it in a way it's fun. I don't do it in a way that goes, that guy's a douchebag. I don't want to be around him. I want it to be fun. And I said it earlier, I can't build myself up by tearing others down. Yeah. What's the other saying that you hear a lot? A rising tide raises all boats. Yeah. I have fun with my friends, and I want to bring all my friends with me, and we're all having fun together. But at the same time, we're slowly learning that there is something to that, to the self-promotion and cutting the promos, as you called it earlier. And wrestling was the first thing I can look back on and really see that. Racing didn't really have it. You might have some colorful characters, but they didn't really cut a promo. Wrestling was the first thing I can remember ever seeing something like that happen. And I've seen a lot of it in the arcade gaming space. And I've seen a little bit of it in racing, but racing seems to be the last group that I'm really focused on, I guess, that I've seen it come to.
This idiot decided to crash the stream again.
I am shocked that you haven't seen one here. We have 3 cats and 2 dogs, and I think my wife has them tied up or something because they've been quiet and they haven't been on me.
I know. Yeah, one of your pets was featured in a documentary, and I heard the gasp throughout the theater that Parker passed away at the end of the film. It's like, that's...
Yep. Tina and I, we've been together, this is our 26th year, and we've lost, I'd have to count for sure because my memory sucks, but we're into the teens on lost pets now. Parker was the first. Everyone we had, obviously, in the documentary are long gone. We have two puppies. Well, they're 2 years old. They're not puppies anymore. They're from the same litter, brother and sister. You can't separate them. Yeah. If you familiar with Marvel at all, Marvel Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., Fitz and Simmons, they were inseparable across time and space. It's kind of creepy in a way because they're brother and sister, but we named them Simmons because it was a joke, really. Tina's like, what are we going to name them? I'm like, I don't know. They're like Fitz and Simmons. You can't separate them. And we couldn't think of a better name, and they just became Fitz and Simmons. I'm like, yeah, but Fitz and Simmons were lovers, and these are brothers. That's kind of creepy, but I don't know. It fit.
I don't know.
So our dogs are Fitz and Simmons, and our cats were all named when we got them, so we didn't name them. We have Finley, we have Dexter, and we have Churro. So we have 3 cats, 2 males and 1 female, and then the dogs, one's a male and female. So we currently have 5. We can't seem to get rid of them because I won't let it happen. Yeah. We got down to 0 dogs for 3 months, maybe. Yeah. Teen was happy, not happy that we didn't have a dog, but like when we were off doing all this video game stuff, the dogs were the problem more because, we didn't really want to put them in a kennel, trying to get somebody to watch them and take care of them. And the cats are cats. They don't really care if you're gone or not. You put food out, you put water out, change their litter. They're pretty happy. So she was kind of
mine.
Well, yeah, ours went treats.
We're mad that I'm on the computer and not.
Oh, I'm sure.
Them.
Different time of the day that'll happen. That's why if Tina wasn't home right now, you would see 5 other living creatures in this frame besides myself. Yeah. But their cats can kind of take care of themselves better. So she was happy that. Not happy, like, yay, we don't have dogs. She was happy that it wasn't a concern. We were free to go do something and not have to worry about it. I couldn't stand it. I said, damn, the last time I lived in a house that didn't have a dog, I was probably 11, 12 years old. I couldn't stand it. I'm like, this isn't working for me. We're getting another dog. We have to. She goes, yeah, but then I'm like, I don't care. We're getting another dog. I can't. This isn't a house. This isn't a home without a dog. I have to have a dog. So We ended up getting 2 because we couldn't separate them. They were the last 2, and we're like, I like him. Well, I like her. And the person that has it, you can't separate them. Because if you do, they cry and just carry on. I'm like, I guess we're getting 2 dogs then, aren't we? So
my mom had 2 dachshunds. They were litter mates. They played with the cat that was in the house. Sometimes they were all by themselves or just 2 dogs. A Welsh corgi came before them. Welsh corgi played with the cats in the house, and it's like then the cats started thinking they were dogs too. So go figure.
Man, I can't tell you what our dogs are. I can't remember the breed. It's a double breed. Wow, that's pretty bad. Tina, what breed are the dogs? There it is. Jacksoos. So it's a cross Jack Russell and a Shih Tzu. It's a crossbreed. They call them Jackshu or Jacksu. I'm not pronouncing it very well.
I think I got it.
Yeah, I knew they had Jack Russell on them. I mean, that's obvious when you see the little shits. But they're from the same litter, and one of them looks more Shih Tzu, one looks more like a Jack Russell. One's got the shorter hair, one has the longer hair. But you can definitely tell they're brother and sister. And they are high energy, high maintenance. Yeah. That's why I'm saying if Tina wasn't home right now, you would see them everywhere. They would be on me. There's no way I could lean back in this chair without somebody jumping on me. It just doesn't happen.
Have you found any games similar to Nibbler that you've maybe looked at?
I haven't. I mean, I've not actively looked for one. Nothing comes to mind that would make me really think of Nibbler. But it's kind of like when I played Nibbler and Robotron, it was the speed thing that really attracted me. Okay,
this
that's
is
kind
the
of
only arcade game that I could find. This is called Jungler, and this is by Konami. Although
I've heard of that, but I've never actually seen gameplay until right now.
I know, yeah, and I've never played it. It was included in the one of those multi-cades that was all Konami games that you bought at Bed Bath & Beyond that you had to assemble.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Serpentine is another similar game, but that was for home computers. It's basically snake eating other snakes from behind.
I remember Casey's Crazy Chase on the Magnavox Odyssey 2, which I don't know, it wasn't really like Nibbler, but I mean you were still eating things and you had segments. Man, it's been so long I can hardly remember that game.
Yeah, you were basically a cross between Pac-Man and Centipede.
Yeah, it's kind of what I was thinking, but I wasn't sure if I was remembering it correctly. And I was thinking Slither for a moment, but Slither made me think more of Centipede or something than Nibbler.
That would be accurate. It is a clone of Centipede.
I can't really think of anything else that makes me think of the gameplay, I guess.
Yeah.
But no, I would have never seeked out another game trying to find something similar to it. Because I never hunted out any game. I mean, I might be walking by and see a game, from the arcade games days, or see a review, or like right now you're playing Jungler. So this kind of makes me go, oh, that looks interesting. I might try that sometime if I ever come across it on an emulator or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't actively look for stuff. It kind of happens more organically, I guess.
Yeah.
A lot of stuff I play now, like I got into Diablo really heavy. A friend of mine, it was his game. He got into Diablo 1 when it was a brand new game.
Right.
And he's been a huge Diablo franchise fan his whole life. And he just, you got to play Diablo. You got to play Diablo. Finally, I said, all right, I'm going to play Diablo. Shut up. And then we started playing it, and it's like, oh, this is pretty
I played 1 and 2, but never 3 or 4. So
we've played the crap out of 3. 4's kind of disappointing compared to 3. But I played both. We for a while we got into the seasons where we would get into, when the new season started, we'd go in and just absolutely destroy the season in 2 weeks and get all the objectives. And it's like, okay, now we're done. We can go do something else till next season. And I've completed Diablo 4 season one time, and it's almost a pay to play model in an extent. You've got to spend some money to be able to get all the stuff out of the season. And once I pay money to play a game for anything, then it feels like I have to play it. because I've now just spent money on this, and if I'm not playing it, I wasted that money, and it almost becomes a job at that point. And I just don't want to get tied down into something like that. I love racing. iRacing looks a lot of fun to me, but it's $15 a month to subscribe. Well, if I pay $15, I'm going to be like, I've got to play this every night, because otherwise I'm wasting my $15. I'm turning it into a job that I don't want. I'm not going to pay to be tied to something. I was never so much a completionist on games. I'll give you a couple examples. I had an Incredible Hulk game that was, I think it was an Xbox disc, but I played it on my Xbox 360. It was backwards compatible. Anyway, I don't ever remember playing the game as the game was intended to play, as far as, objectives, playing the game, the way it was created. That was a game that was a stress release for me. If I had a crappy day at work, Tina knew without me even saying a word, because I would come home, I would grab that game at my console, and I would run around and just hulk out for a while. I would grab a bus and I would flatten a police car with it, or I'd grab a car and climb a building and chuck a car off the top of the building. Just, basically run around, create havoc, break stuff, destroy stuff. And then after about 15 minutes of doing that, then I was like, that's out of my system now. Now I want to go talk to my wife, because my stress just went away. Never played the game as far as playing the game. Mm-hmm. Guitar Hero. I would hear a song on the radio coming home from work or driving to work, and it would make me think of a track on Guitar Hero. So 9 times out of 10, I'd come home that night and I'd grab a guitar and I'd sit down and I'd play Guitar Hero for a while. But it wasn't because I was trying to get to the next objective. I had a friend that was into Call of Duty. When I say he was into Call of Duty, I say that that was the only game he played. He would go to the midnight release, buy whatever the new version was, go home, play it all night, play it all year, rinse and repeat. Next version come out, next midnight release. That's all the kid played. I couldn't do it. Mm-hmm. I got too bored with stuff. It's what was I in the mood for? When I came home tonight, if I wanted to play something fast, I might play a racing game. I might play some Robotron. If I wanted to play some classic. If I had a bad day, Hulk was going to be on the screen. If I heard something that made me think of a song or wanted to play some rock music, I was probably playing Guitar Hero. But I never grabbed a game and bought it and felt like I just had to keep playing that game, playing until I finished it, or completed every objective. Xbox had achievements on it. There's some games I did eventually complete because I enjoyed the game so much.
When I was younger, it's kind of like that, but not so much. I have to play. Any game I play is in a short burst, and that's it.
Yeah, I got into Clash of Clans quite a bit because it was mobile.
Yeah,
I could play it sitting in my car waiting to go into work, or sitting at the doctor's office waiting to go see the doctor, or whatever, grocery store. My wife's getting a prescription for us, and I'm sitting down there waiting for the prescription. I could go in and do a little bit of Clash of Clans, very casual. Stuff like that. Bite-sized gaming that I don't have to invest days or hours on. And I had more fun doing that, not being married to, I got to go home, got to do that game tonight because I got to get to the next level. When games became that way, that was a turnoff to me, because I was the old guy that dropped the quarter in. You went for a high score. First time I played Zelda, there's no score.
Yeah.
What?
And
the end? You got to play it, try to get to the end, and you got to read all this stuff?
It's like
that game didn't work for me at all
that
on any level.
It's taking so long to complete a Zelda game.
Couldn't stand it. Can't stand Zelda. Never could stand it. That's the weird part with Tina and me. Tina was a Zelda baby, and I was a Mario baby.
Yeah. Even those are kind of like
they're getting there.
Long campaign.
Yeah.
Especially,
they didn't used to be, but
no.
I still think I wasn't crazy about that. It was okay. I still think if I could only have one game and that's the only game I could play from now until the day I die, I'd probably still go with Super Mario World. Mm-hmm. I just had so much fun in that game. It'd have to be that or maybe Metroid. Yeah. I played the living hell out of those two games when they were new. Metroid made me mad. That's the last one that really made me mad. There's a fake Raid and a fake Ridley and Craig, isn't it? Or Kraid? It's been so long since I played it. I'm probably getting the names wrong.
You're talking about the wall jump.
Yeah. And I found the fake ones and thought I finished it. And it's like, what? And then eventually I did find my way to the end and did finish. And it's like, oh, that was just mean throwing fake characters in there
You
like
went
that.
into Minus World, technically.
Yeah. I didn't at the time, and that game actually, that was frustrating because it's like, what the hell happened here? The last one I got.
Worlds, yes. And
the last one I got really good at was probably Contra 3.
Yeah.
I loved Contra, and then Contra 3 Alien Wars. I played the crap out of that on console. I got really good at it. I used to be able to finish it without dying and had a lot of fun playing that. And I don't know. Consoles changed a lot after that. The fighting games, and I don't mean the fighting like Street Fighter and Tekken. I mean the war games, the shooting games, the military games.
Yeah.
And I didn't care for them as much. I didn't care for first person shooters in particular. Third person perspective always worked better for me. Yeah. First person, I didn't care for it as much. I finally got somewhat decent at them. I can play them, but just not the same thing. It just changed too much for me. I kind of got lost there.
Doom, Wolfenstein, yes, that's what I cut my teeth on. But the modern ones, Call of Duty.
I got into it for a while when PSP was doing stuff there on Twin Galaxies where I don't remember which Call of Duty it was. They had it on the front page of Twin Galaxies. He was trying to push Twin Galaxies into modern current gaming.
Yeah.
And I'd never played the game. I saw they were doing it, and I actually bought a copy of it just to jump in and see how bad I was. The answer was I was horrible. But the people, it was fun. We had this little group that we got together all the time, our little clan. PSP was one of them. And a friend I made on there that I still talk to, and this has been, 10, 15 years, probably longer than that. It was in the 2007, 2008, somewhere in there. Jamil Sneed. I doubt seriously he's watching this, but we're still friends on Facebook. I talk to him on there all the time. He's from Texas. We became friends because we were in that clan together because we knew PSP. And it was just us guys with our headsets on in our clan talking about the other team, strategizing, just hanging out and having fun. We'd get on every night for an hour or two, and it was a lot of fun. And that fragmented when PS4 and Xbox One came out.
Yeah.
Because all of us were on Xbox 360 at that time. And then the new gen came out, and 2 people got a PS4 and 3 people got an Xbox One. And I said, screw consoles, and got a PC. And we all kind of fragmented, and that was the end of it. And I never did find that again until my buddy got me kind of dragged into the Diablo 3 a little bit. Totally different game, but headset on, talking to your friends, playing together online, working together and stuff. And it was fun. And that's the last one I really got into, was the Diablo franchise. I've seen some neater graphic looking ones that came out, but just like you're playing an interactive movie. It's I don't know. They leave me dry, the gameplay. They're gorgeous. They look fantastic, but when I tried playing them, it's just like, oh, this is boring. This isn't working for me. I guess it's the old gamer in me. It just, the challenge isn't there. When you,
I will say, the last game console I actually purchased was a Wii.
I got a Wii U.
Yeah, I stopped with the Wii. Now I've gotten.
I did get an Xbox One.
Yeah,
that was the end of it for me. I got an Xbox One, hardly touched it. I loved the Wii U. I adored it. I was so disappointed at how Nintendo pulled the plug on it. I did buy a Switch. I got to be honest. I did buy a Switch.
Yeah.
Never play it. Literally never play it. I've got a bunch of games for it because I found them on sale and whatnot. And got a holder. It's got all the little cards in it. It's not fun on the TV. It's not fun as a portable. To me, I don't play it. I just don't enjoy it.
I have pretty much stopped buying games because my focus has been on classic arcade. Unless there's a game that I find that I absolutely must have. Yeah, because I've gone to Midwest Gaming Classic and not bought anything the last few years.
I can remember the first time I went, it's like, oh, I got to get that. I got to get that. I got to get, oh, I wish I had money for that. And then after like 2 or 3 years, it's like, I got all that stuff. I don't play it and I don't want it.
I've got stuff that I have bought that I've never played too.
On PCs, I keep buying bigger and bigger and bigger hard drives. Well, till the last few years when prices got retarded.
Yeah.
I've got over 1,000 games installed right now between Steam and Battle.net and Good Old Gaming, the GOG.com, and all the different launchers. Everybody had to do their own launcher, which was a lot of stupid. I keep getting the free Epic games every week, and I've never played or installed a single Epic game. I don't know. It's the collector in me, the fact that they're free. I just go there every week, click it so that it's in my library in case I ever get the urge, I guess. But I have more games installed on this computer than I can conceivably even remotely attempt to play and finish in the rest of my lifetime if I live another 50 years. And it's stupid when I look at it and think about it. And the bundles, Humble Bundle and some of the other bundle sites, PC gaming, kind of did that. I would see a bundle and it's like, oh, I want those 2 games. That bundle's like $5 or $8. I grab the bundle and get the other 12 games that came with it. And I just kept buying bigger hard drives and install them because I might want to play that someday, even though I played the same 5 games every time I sat down, So I've got a hell of a collection, but it's all digital. When I die, it dies with me, probably, because people probably won't know my passwords or care. My wife.
I need the hard drives just to store video. Archive video.
Yeah, I can see that being a thing.
And this is a 360 camera, and it's gonna require a lot more storage space to save video I film.
I have
this thing.
Not every RC race, but every one. Once I realized how I could go about acquiring them, there's so when we race RCs, you can go to liverc.com.
Yeah.
And a lot of the tracks have video cameras, and you can actually watch me racing live while I'm doing it.
Yeah.
But even the tracks that don't have the video cameras, it keeps the scoring. So you can go and you can see, well, Tim's in this race. He starts here. This is where he finished, what his fast lap was, whatever. Well, anyway, most of the tracks now have video camera and they have video of it. It'll only go back like the last so many months. So I figured out how to go into the browser, and with an add-on in my browser, I can snag those videos and save them to my hard drive. So I've started going back every time I race, good, bad, or otherwise. I go back to that website and I download my personal race videos and I save them, my own personal archive. Don't know why, I guess because I can. I've watched some of them again. Most of them I haven't. I remember them. I know what I did, and there's nothing memorable to watch again. Sometimes there is. One night my buddy got spun out and he was pissed. This guy had hit him several times and he got spun out and he's backwards and he comes around the track backwards. His intent was to plow that guy and take him out. I was in between them. And I don't know how you don't see the yellow car in the black track, but he sure didn't. I was full throttle going down the straightaway, not expecting a car to come at me head on. He was full throttle going the opposite direction, looking for the guy that had just spun him, and we found each other. And the sound was so loud, the echo in that building, and everybody's like, whoa! So we made video clips of that. We play them every once in a while to give each other a hard time. So sometimes there's some real memorable stuff like that, but most of it's pretty uneventful. Yeah. But I want them all because that was me. That was something I did, and I'm saving them for God only knows what reason. Maybe I'll make a documentary one day, or maybe somebody will acquire my hard drives after I'm dead. Go, Jesus, this guy raced a lot. Let's put all these together and make a montage. Or they'll probably just get hammered and thrown away at the dumpster and be gone, and that'll be the end of it. But I keep storing it anyway. It's a part of my hoarding personality, I guess.
Wrestlers have asked me for footage of their past matches I filmed, so there's that.
Well, that's cool.
Although
you might be the only person that has that footage in existence still.
Yeah.
I mean, you filmed it, so who else has that particular footage from that vantage point?
Yes. So we're gonna kind of wind this down. You any particular thing about the making the documentary that stands out to you that we might not know?
Boy, I don't know what it would be. I can tell you that they had hundreds of hours of footage to pull from. Some of the stuff that surprised me was when they tracked down Enrico Zanetti and they got his story added. I didn't see that coming. How do you find somebody from the 80s? Well, how'd they find me? Well, they went to Walter. Well, how do you find Enrico? And the fact that they were able to pull that rabbit out of the hat. And the one that caught me off guard, it put a tear in my eye the first time I watched it down in Austin, Texas during the premiere, was footage of my mom. Mm-hmm. My mom had died in 99. And in 99, we didn't have hardly any footage of her. I mean, we had camcorders around back then, but we just didn't do a lot of home movies. I bought a camcorder to film sports events and film races that I was off watching, or that I was working on the car, my buddy was racing. We were filming the races, and we would watch that race back to see what maybe he could have done better here or there. He was analyzing where he could have drove better. We weren't thinking Mom's going to die next year. We probably should be recording a bunch of video of her. Yeah. And the fact that Tim and Andy were able to go back and get some of the archive footage from Twin Galaxies with my mom while I'm playing Nibbler, I about fell over, because they didn't tell me some of that stuff. Some of that stuff I didn't know. Tim sat beside me in Austin during the premiere of that at Fantastic Fest, and I hadn't seen it yet. So I was seeing it for the first time, and he was next to me watching me on some of the moments he knew was coming up that I had no idea was coming up, So they surprised me on a few of them. That was definitely one of them. Nothing, I guess, that I don't think anybody didn't know. I don't know what it would be that actually made it into the footage.
I guess an example of something that didn't make it into the movie that you thought should had.
I think they got everything in there that should have been. I mean, they didn't. Really
I have no idea what extras they put on the video release of this.
I mean, you could have. What if you wanted to see all 6 of the failures that led up to the score? I mean, that wasn't included, but it was.
No.
I mean, it was just. It didn't add to the story.
Yeah.
It didn't.
I mean,
it didn't help. It could have, I guess. It could have showed the build up. Well, he tried and he failed, and they did show some of that. But yeah, I think they got all the high points. There's nothing when I watched it. Obviously, I was there for all of my footage. I mean, I wasn't there for all of Dwayne's footage, Yeah. But there was nothing that I was part of that felt left out. Like, damn, I remember doing this. Why isn't that in there? Or anything like that. One of the surprises was some of the Dwayne footage. Went on vacation, came back on probation, and it showed the cop taking him down. It's like, wow. I hadn't heard that story.
All beat up, and
I hadn't heard that story. Didn't know that happened. Knew nothing about it. And Tim and Andy, even though they were quizzing me over the fact they thought Dwayne was cheating, and I don't know if they were trying to get me to jump on a bandwagon or just get my natural reaction. They didn't tell me they were doing the forensic stuff. Having the board tested and inspected and looked into, and I didn't know any of that stuff was going on at all. So that was kind of neat to see.
I didn't ask this. Oh yeah, go ahead and finish.
I was gonna say, other than the stuff I was in, I don't know what could have been left out because I wasn't there. They went up to Dwayne's house and got a bunch of footage up there with him and his mom and different. So I don't know what was left out because I wasn't there when that was shot. But I think they did a good job of the stuff that I know existed. They did a pretty good job of getting it all in the movie, especially, like I said, hundreds of hours trying to condense it down into something that's viewable without this person going, good God, how long is this movie?
I'm waiting for the release, or at least the rough draft of Ghost Lord, The Quest for Dark Presence, because it's going to be the first gaming documentary that I was ever in, or is going to be the first gaming documentary that I'll be featured in some form. Because it's like, there's this gaming documentary, and another one is like, I'd like to get in one of these films. And then there's another one that was shot by somebody I know, and I didn't know they were doing a gaming documentary. It was like, why didn't you tell me you were doing this project? And I found out, it's like after the film was finished, I did watch it. It was like, what? You could have got me in the film because I'm kind of a semi-famous gamer, being the 1991 Nintendo Campus Challenge National Champion. The guy who came after the guy who's always in the shadow of Thor Ackerland.
Thor's a damn nice guy. That was somebody I was very happy to make an acquaintance through this stuff. He was a great guy.
I haven't met him yet in person. I
unfortunately have not either. So yeah, me saying met is kind of a misnomer. We haven't physically met, but talked on the phone, talked online.
Yeah.
He helped me choose when I got into PC gaming. He helped me select some of my components and kind of steered me in some directions because he was big in PC gaming. He helped me build my gaming PC and, kind of really make a nice one because of his guidance.
Yeah.
And then we talked quite a bit, troubleshooting stuff, optimizing stuff. And he's a good asset and just a damn nice guy to talk to. Some of the other guys, U.S. National Video Game Team, meeting Jeff Peters, meeting him out in New Mexico, meeting Dwayne, hanging out with Dwayne. That was unforgettable. He stayed at my house. He's been at my house.
Yeah.
Paul Zimmerman stayed at my house. Come down. All the people I met. There's nobody that I've met that I didn't like, really. Sometimes we got off on the wrong foot. Like I said, Richie Knuckles and George Lutz, the Cuber guy.
Lutz, probably.
He threw a Tim McVey poster on the ground and stomped on it, and then there was some back and forth backbiting shit that was online. And when we finally met, this was a long time ago. And then when we finally met and we talked, cool dude. I had fun talking to him. It's people get wrapped up in other people pushing agendas sometimes, winding somebody up, say, well, did you hear the rumors and just stupid stuff. And then when you meet the person and you get to talk to them face to face, it can go multiple ways. Yeah. You'll meet a person and they're not going to say the shit to you to your face that they'll say online behind your back, because you can reach out and smack them in the mouth, So that changes people a little bit. And then some people, once you meet them, you realize he probably never said that at all. That was what this guy said he said. Mm-hmm. Either that or maybe they're a good liar. I don't know. But reality is, once I've met the people and talked to them, I've not really had a problem with anybody. I never met our murder-suicide guy, which is, I'm thankful that I
probably
never met
for the
him.
better. I know.
Probably in a lot of directions for the better. That's one that none of us needed to meet. Sadly, there's some of them out there,
I will say that there is a pro wrestler that I knew that did kill somebody. Which he went to NXT or Florida, where Florida Championship Wrestling, but things didn't quite go the way that he wanted, and then he just made a decision that a lot of us just like were shocked and saddened and sickened, and it's like,
I've known a few people relatively close to me personally that have either killed somebody or been killed by somebody, family members that got killed by somebody. There's some tragic stuff out there, man. It sucks when it hits that close to home. Yeah, it's not fun.
Well, being working for state police, I get back I put out and get back the laptops that go in the cars. I did get one where the officer took his own life and opened the lid, and the keyboard was covered in blood, and I freaked.
Yeah, that can't be easy.
No.
I'll tell you what, out of all the podcasts I've done, this is one of the more interesting ones for a number of reasons. It's been a long time since I did one. So obviously topics are different than they would have been like when I was doing a bunch of podcasts all relatively close together,
Yeah.
Things aren't as fresh in my mind as they were. Life has changed in a lot of ways, what I was doing then versus what I'm doing now.
Yeah.
I was more into video games then. I'm more into RCs now. Hopefully your viewers aren't too bored hearing what's going on, but it is what it is. It's the direction life has taken me at this point.
Yep. Well, people stayed around for most of this, so
well, that's good.
Yep. Pancreas, definitely not bored. I certainly wasn't bored at all during this interview, and it was quite interesting to. It's great to catch up on the last few years since.
Yeah, I don't know if it was what you were expecting or hoping for, or just hope nobody's disappointed.
I hate
to waste time.
I've done 97 episodes of my pod, and I've interviewed several people, and we kind of went off on related stuff and what we're doing now besides gaming. Obviously, I'm trying to get away from the wrestling stuff, but the wrestling stuff followed me into the gaming world. So,
isn't it funny how stuff comes and goes, though? I mean, because you said you gamed years ago, but you weren't really into score chasing your records. Now you've kind of went that direction.
Didn't have really an avenue to pursue it.
That's a factor. That's definitely a factor. Like I said, I was in a great environment for it. If I didn't live in Ottumwa, Iowa, when I lived in Ottumwa, Iowa, nobody would know my name right now.
Yeah.
I was in the right place at the right time. My family didn't have money like some of these other families did. I would have never traveled to Ottumwa to play video games even if I was good. So chances are nobody would have known who I was. I just happened to live there. Walter just happened to be this crazy promoter that could drum up interest in nothing and make something bigger than it really was. And he pushed us all better than what we probably should have been and tried to make something out of it for himself and for us. So he made us who we are to a point. I mean, the gamers earned it by doing it, but without his promotion, would you have heard of me? Without his arcade, almost certainly not. So it's funny how life can come full circle. I'll never talk bad about that time or even gaming now, other than I just want some space from it right now. If all this stuff ever finally just goes away, the stupid lawsuits and all the just nonsense, I'd love to do a reunion at some point and get together with everybody and hang out like I did with Dwayne out there in New Mexico. It kind of saddens me to hear that, he's away from gaming and out of it.
I'd like to off the grid.
I'd like to think I could reach out and find him and catch him, but if Greg says I probably can't, then I bet he knows it a lot better than I do.
Yeah.
And that's kind of sad. And that makes me feel sad because I thought I was his friend and I thought he's my friend. I mean, that's how I feel anyway. And I'm fairly sure that he felt that way. And we've lost contact with each other. And that's sad that now that I don't know that I can reach out and get a hold of him,
Well, we do have trading cards. And you have
too many.
6 of them right now, it looks like. Number 56 was your first. 2304 was your most recent one. You might have gotten something else since. I don't know.
Not that I'm aware of.
And you have a holiday. January 28th is Tim McVey Day.
I get asked about that. Do you still celebrate that every year? And I said, nah, I never really did. You know what? January 28th is Tim McVey Day. January 28th, 1986 was also the day the Space Shuttle Challenger blew up. I was sitting there watching it live. It's funny how life can do things like that. And then, of course, you got the Oklahoma City bomber, Timothy McVeigh.
Yeah.
That's been a lot of fun.
I was going to try to ask that question in the last few minutes. It's like, I'm glad you mentioned it.
People will say something online. They'll even in racing, in RC racing, somebody will mention my name. They'll tag me, Tim McVeigh. And somebody will go, why are you tagging the Oklahoma City bomber? And I'm like, oh, shit, here we go again. Man, can't this just ever go away? I'm like, I made the name first, man. I made it famous first. And I wasn't a douche when I did it. Come on, give me a break.
There's some people out who share the name with a famous person or an infamous person. Is like, how's life different for them because
I've worked at the hobby store that I work at for almost 2 years now. And it's happened 3 times where somebody's walked into the hobby store to pick up something and they recognize me from video games.
Yeah.
And it's always amusing when it happens because I don't expect it to happen. And the owner, the first time it happened, he heard me talk to the guy and sat there and, answer some questions and just discuss anything he wanted to discuss. And the owner didn't even know it at that point. It's kind of like Tim and Andy with the documentary. They're like, you didn't tell Tina? I'm like, no, it didn't. When we met, it wasn't a topic. I didn't have a Nibbler and we didn't meet over video games. We were together for almost 10 years. I had stuff in storage in Tennessee, or 5 years, excuse me, when we got our house. When I went and got all my stuff out of storage and brought it home and the key to the city came out of the box, that's when that got discussed. I mean, that was real in the documentary. Tim and Andy are like, you didn't tell your wife? I'm like, well, she wasn't my wife yet. And no, it's not like the first thing I would do, go, hi, I'm Tim McVeigh. I scored 1 billion points on a video game. Wasn't relevant. That was way long time ago,
All right.
And so when people recognize me, I don't expect it. It's only happened 3 times, but it cracks up every time. But yeah, the store owner didn't know about it at all. I'd never told him because same reason I didn't tell my wife. I didn't go in and apply for a job and go, by the way, did you know that I'm a world famous video gamer? That I have it's not relative to what I was doing. Yeah. Turns out that he's a video gamer too. And he was shocked that he didn't know that he hired me, the doc. And so then he watched the doc and he was floored. So it's funny how some of that stuff comes around sometimes.
A few people have asked if I was the son of George Lucas. No. All right, Tim, I want to thank you for coming into the Crimeycade this week. And if you You haven't been to Galvin Ghost for a long time.
It's been a minute.
Well, they're at 1,080 some odd games now, and they're closing in on 1,100.
So they had to close like the next street off to take the building on the next block, and then like build a bridge across it to get more space.
I think that's where they're gonna. I think that's what they're gonna have to do, beyond unless they manage to get another level added on to that building.
I'll go up instead of sideways. Yeah, that'd be one way.
Well, the original idea was go up instead of sideways, but if they want everything to be connected together, yeah, they're gonna have to build a sky bridge. I guess. I don't know.
I would like to get back out to the area sometimes. I would like to go to Star Worlds again. I'd like to go to Galloping Ghost again. I feel bad because I'm forgetting the other arcade that was up north.
Underground Retrocade.
Yes, thank you. And I had a great experience there. The arcade was great. The owner was great. Treated us amazing. I had fun there. I'd like to go back and say hi. But if and when any of this happens, I just want to walk in and surprise them. I don't want them to say, hey, I'm coming out. I don't want to make a big deal about it. Me and Tina, I just want to walk in and say, hey, man, what's going on? Just play some games, just walk in and just hang out, play some games and enjoy the ambiance and the atmosphere, relive some of the sights and sounds that I haven't heard for a while. I'd love to do that again.
See, his name is being called. Galby Ghost is calling.
If you've never been, you have to go, and if you have been, you got to go back because, it is I'd call it the mecca of arcade gaming now. I mean, I don't know what could possibly top it. If there's something out there, I'm unaware of it. If there's anything even close, I'm unaware of it.
I'm watching for anything that comes close, right? But the next biggest arcade is like 750. So
that's not bad. That's nothing to sneeze at. Where's that at?
I would like to say the Pinball Hall of Fame in Las Vegas, but also maybe Rob Burke's Pastime Arcade out in Youngstown, Ohio.
So Tina and I have talked several times about potentially at some point going to Fun Spot. I don't know if they still have the events that they used to. I don't want to go for that. Her and I just go. Just walk in and just go. And the biggest reason,
Fun Spot.
Well, the biggest reason we want to do Fun Spot is twofold. One is I've never been. Two, Twin Galaxies in Ottumwa was my local arcade. Mm-hmm. Fun Spot in Florida was hers. Yeah. So growing up, same age frame, same time frame. I'm at Florida. Twin Galaxies, and she's in Florida at Fun Spot. There was a Fun Spot.
No, wait. Yeah. Fun Spot's in New Hampshire.
The one now is, but they used to have two locations. They had one in Florida. That was her local arcade in Florida.
Okay.
You knew Twin Galaxies has had like 4 or 5 locations, right?
I did not know that.
Twin Galaxies?
Twin Galaxies, all I know is the Ottumwa, Iowa.
No. So when Twin Galaxies and Ottumwa existed, they had 2 locations at the time.
Okay.
Twin Galaxies, 2. Ottumwa, Iowa, and Kirksville, Missouri.
Okay.
I didn't know about it either.
I didn't know that.
My brother lived in Kirksville. He was a farmer, and I was down there, and we were in town, and we're going down Main Street, and there's a Twin Galaxies, and I'm like, what in the hell? And I walk in, and there's Walter at Twin Galaxies in Kirksville, Missouri, that he'd never mentioned to us. True story. And then
I didn't know there was a Fun Spot in Florida.
Yeah,
I've got to research that.
You got some research to do. And then
yes.
After Walter got done with Twin Galaxies there for a while, Steve Harris had it. He was still running the scoreboard, and they were running a Twin Galaxies out of Fairfield, Iowa. I went to that one. I played games down there. And then in the early 80s, I worked at Twin Galaxies in Oskaloosa, Iowa, with Billy Mitchell running it. Okay. I worked for Billy at Twin Galaxies. So there's been multiple Twin Galaxies in at least 3 different towns that I'm aware of, and there's been at least 2 Fun Spots in 2 different states that I'm aware of.
Okay.
So yeah, you got a little bit of research. There's something for you to mess with you just a little bit.
Potential future guest. I wanted to get one of the guys from Twin Galaxies on the pod. A guy's card. I talked to him at the Pinball Expo, but has not materialized yet. But maybe it will later. All right, Tim. Thank you for coming into the Crimeycade, and
You're
Maybe I'll
welcome.
see-
Thanks for having
Come
me.
around the Galloping Ghost and let me know when you're going.
Well, you got my contact info too. If you ever want to just reach out for whatever reason, you know how to get a hold of me.
All right, Tim. Have a good night and keep on gaming. Keep on racing, I guess.
I'm going to do both. I don't think I'll ever quit any of it. Totally quit. Time and space, get away from some for a while. Eventually it'll come back. And what I'm doing now will probably eventually go away. So the traveling to the races will probably be what kicks that one eventually. Driving in the dark, the older I get, night vision, it's not fun. I can always game at home. So, all right. Thanks for having me, guys. I appreciate it.
Yeah, my Galloping Ghost commute is always 200 miles up and then 200 miles back.
You're still 100 miles closer than I am.
Yeah.
Yep.
I still got Gamer of the Year, so I wanted it bad enough. So I don't know.
If you want something bad enough, go get it, right?
Yeah, and I got it. So
good job.
All right. Have a good night.
You too.
All right. Tim McVey, the star of Man vs. Snake. Let me run through the rest of this before we get out of here. The arcade game, the Arcade Wars Game of the Month has been announced. It's Super Pang, also known as Super Buster Brothers. Galloping Ghost does not have this one on the arcade floor. They don't have the original Buster Brothers. So I guess they're setting out this one too, but I don't know. Arcade tournaments are still in action, and this Saturday down at Murphy's on 21, they will have the Pokemon Pinball Lunch Party. That's down in the St. Louis area, on the southwest side, 13 to 26 Tesson Ferry Road at South County's Pinball Pub. MGL 67, they have announced the next two games in that series. It will be Turbo. Ms. Pac-Man and Outrun has been added to the lineup on games to chase. And Outfoxy's Street Fighter 2, Skybase, Crazy Kong, those scores will close on April the 26th. American Gear Company is having their tournament. I am now the lead, tied for the lead. I need to get on a Pac-Man and get the score for that. Take the lead on Roston as well. Not a lot of people have entered this tournament on the right. There's several that have entered Main Gaming League 67, but both are free. So if you want to enter these tournaments, better get on it. AussieArcade.com, and you got to look for the forum to enter that competition. So, but you only have till next Sunday, the 26th, to get in there to qualify for all the scores for that. T20. Question as to whether there's going to be a T20 this year, and if not, what replaces it? And there's discussion on today on the stream when Jeremiah was playing Sly Spy. Would I go up for if T20 was canceled that weekend? I've already allocated the time, so I'm going up there no matter what. And I'm also going up for anniversary. So when they announced the new Gamer of the Year, Ben Falls did chime into the chat that he has not been to Galloping Ghost once in 2026, but he will be back soon. And we kind of miss him because we got to have our champions around. My reign as Gamer of the Year, we kind of missed. I had to miss time during my reign because cat drama. This Saturday, Como Retro in Columbia, Missouri from 10 to 4. I will not be able to go to that, but maybe next year. The Midwest Gaming Classic I mentioned earlier. Also, Springfield is having the Midwest Comic Con. Paul Niemeyer and Paul Zimmerman will be there at the Orr Building in Springfield, Illinois, this Saturday and Sunday, Illinois State Fairgrounds. But 1 week until this, and 48 hours, the fastest 48 hours of the year. The week after that. And yes, I imagine it's collecting some dust. I went around the conventions wearing the belt, and I put significant wear on the back, and I'd like to replace the strap on there and just move all the plates over to a new one. Tim McVey is sending me pictures of the competition. Oh, gosh. You know what? Let me share this 1 second. Let me share this. He's showing these. Let me share screen. I'm going to show these off. Get the window up. Here it is. Tim McVey with the championship belt. The gold. See, he collects belts like I do. Let's share some of these others. Yes. Guinness World Record certificates. Tim McVey Bay with Walter Day back in many years ago. And Guinness World Record. Here's some of the racing pictures. Yeah, where he's a won or placed. Yes, quite a bit. That's driving the number 67 car. Too fast for you. 67. 67-1, McVey. And there you go. So maybe you can see him race on the track sometime in the near future. All right, let me throw this slideshow back up here. Then we're going to raid. Oh, what did I do with my slideshow? Here we go. St. Joseph Retrocon a week after Midwest Gaming Classic on the 2nd and the 3rd. Combo Breaker during Memorial Day weekend. It'll start on Friday, end on Sunday, so Memorial Day is not part of this. I am going to go up for this, probably Saturday and Sunday. Hang out with Tracy Gleave, who is coming in from the United Kingdom, so that'll be a fun time. Illinois Game Con, June 6th, from 9 to 5 on, I'll be going to that in Bloomington. Actually not next week, 2 weeks from tonight, my guests will be returning to the Crimeycade, Paul Tessie, Mega Retroman, and Nightmare James Sorhi. We will talk about the aftermath to the Game On Expo. There we'll share stories of how things went. Paul Tessie pretty much dominated the competition. James was trying to write his redemption story. Partial redemption. He did not win the tournament. He kind of didn't do as well as he thought he would have liked, but Paul Tessie just pretty much mopped the floor with everybody and took home the title. So that'll be in 2 weeks. So I am going to raid the channel. My raid target for tonight. That is not it. Gonna play the ending. Gonna play the ending sequence, not the starting sequence. All right. I have my usual raid target. A lot of people are kind of winding down for the night as it is after 11 o'clock. So, take a quick look. Yeah, I want to do retro, but it's not giving. It's only giving the channels I follow. What we got? I know there's several games that are being chased right now. Nobody's playing Nibbler, I can see. So, you know what? I'm gonna raid. Oh, good grief. What happened there? I'm gonna reload this sucker. Anyway, till next time, I am the Magnificent Crime Fighter. We'll see ya. I am going to raid 1971 Printer. He's going to be playing Batsugan. He just started, so let's give the raid to him. Have a good night, everybody.